appreciate this. I hope the listeners appreciate the sacrifice that I'm making this week, because we're recording this and it's been Armored Core 6 has been unlocked for 7 minutes and I'm not playing it. That's a goddamn travesty. So
I saw some weird comment on an IGN review about Armored Core 6 that made me laugh.
Yeah.
It was a guy being like, it's weird that they made this game without doing a lot of research on real robots. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, I would love to play a Met Combat game that played like all the dumb robots he made that do their little, I gotta go to the bathroom, I gotta shit real bad walk.
You can kick and they just like kind of wobble.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yep. Anyway, welcome back, everybody, to the RageSelect podcast here on RageSelect. I am Jeff.
And I'm Mike.
We've got Gamescom Mania this week.
Yeah.
This I feel like is a bigger Gamescom than maybe it was last year. It's weird though.
It's a strange one, yeah.
Because I look over the list and like there were some release dates that got put out there, but there wasn't like a big showstopper. There wasn't like here's the full trailer for Mass Effect 4 type of thing. Or
I felt like the closest was the Mortal Kombat stuff, and even then, not really.
But they just been like they got a fire hose open on that Mortal Kombat shit right now. So
them the Tekken guys.
Yep.
Starfield's coming out. I guess I feel like they thought Starfield would be something like that, but
we already know
it's coming out,
guys.
So, and then I guess the future game show happened like a minute later or something.
We're not even going into that. We're not even going to cover all of Gamescom because as we're recording this, there's still like more trailers and more trailers and more trailers.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, we're going to do opening night live, and we're going to do. I got some other news that happened this week that we're going to gloss over really quickly, as is our want to do. But before we get to that, Michael, it's very important. I watched something last week.
What did you watch?
There's a show about a much beloved character that has been gone for a long time, and it finally came back, and everybody's raving about it. And do you know what show that is?
Beavis and Butthead?
No. I was trying to get you to say Ahsoka, but it's not Ahsoka.
The problem is I forgot Ahsoka came out.
The Metalocalypse Army of the Doomstar came out last week. Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Full hour and 20 minutes. The actual finale of Metalocalypse.
How was that, by the way?
It was very good. So the thing is that I went back last week and I was like, I don't remember if I even watched season 4 of Metalocalypse, but fortunately, season 4 of Metalocalypse is like 12 episodes that are like 12 minutes a piece. So you could like watch the entire thing in like a couple hours.
It's pretty short, and then there's the musical thing they did right afterwards.
Yes,
that's the longer thing.
The Requiem of the Doomstar is like 45 minutes. That's their rock opera. I think it was if I know it correctly, it's like they did the 4th season and then they didn't get picked up, and then they wrote this rock opera and they went and performed it live, and then they got the money to be able to make that into the actual animated thing, and then
something
they did
like that because they kept being like toyed with the idea if they were going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
And then eventually they were just like, I just think it's too much money.
Yep.
And I was like, really? That's too much money? Of all the things that you make? But that happens with most of the Adult Swim shows, is the excuse as to why they don't make more of them.
But it's been 10 years. That was 2013, and 2023 fucking Army of the Doomstar finally came out.
I had friends watch them live when the show was originally on.
Yeah.
And that's like that. You guys don't understand how huge of a show that was at the time.
Oh, yeah.
It was massive.
It was great. It was absolutely fantastic. It was a great ending. It finally, like there were like a couple of different parallel things that were going on behind the scenes, because for anybody that has never watched it, Metalocalypse is a very weird show.
Oh, it's insane.
It's about it's about Death Clock, which is this heavy metal, this like black metal band, and they're like the most popular band of all time, to the point where they fly around in like these giant metal themed fucking pirate ships that are also like Nick Fury's VTOL carrier. And the thing is that they're the 7th largest economy on the planet, but they're all incredibly stupid and don't know how to do anything for themselves. And so every episode is usually just some stupid shit happening with the band, but then they always cut away to like, there's like a general and like a council of weirdos talking about like, Death Clock is going to the mall this week, and here to tell us more is our mall expert. And then there's like this weird creepy guy who's like, we will see what Death Clock buys at the mall. And like all that comes back then at the end, like it all finally gets paid off. there's maybe a little bit. There was two concurrent storylines. There was that, and then there was like an army of like anti-fans, and the musical wraps up the army of anti-fans, and then this wraps up all the stuff with Salacia, the white-haired guy, and the general, and the fucking those guys. It was great. And the other thing was they got some money for the animation, so like a lot of just the regular stuff is still kind of has that Adult Swim part, but then you'll suddenly see a scene that feels like I'm looking at the Heavy Metal movie.
Oh, wow.
Because it's like a very American animation, right? And then it's very like smooth, and they're doing something that's not just the kind of standing still or 3/4 to the side puppet animation. So
like Archer had that sort of idea. Like or as an example for people who have never seen it, Archer had that sort of like standstill, different kind of motions.
Yeah.
And then every now and then he would have this really intricate sequence for some reason.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, no, it was 100% worth it. I actually bought it for $20 on Amazon because I want.
That's surprising, actually, the most.
Yeah, I was like, I actually want to give Brendan Small my money because like this
deserves it.
This is dedication, man.
Yeah.
Like coming to a satisfying conclusion to something that started. I mean, remember, season 4 or like the Doomstar Requiem, that was in 2013, but that series started like far before that.
It was like early, like mid 2000s or something like that.
I don't even know.
I remember being in high school at some point. I just remember watching it religiously with my friends because we just thought it was one of the funniest things on the planet.
It's great. And you know what? For whatever reason, they put all the episodes on Max. So you can watch them all on Max right now. 2006 was the original air date. But yeah. So and the seasons 1 and 2 and 4 are those like Aqua Teen Hunger Force 12-minute episodes. So if you skip the intro and then go to the next episode before the end credits roll, woo, you could rip through Metalocalypse quickly.
I think about that show a lot.
Yeah.
That's the thing, guys. That's one of those shows that's so incredibly quotable.
Yep.
Like, I think every time it's somebody's birthday and I don't buy them anything, I'm like, I got you the most brutal thing of all. Nothing.
I mean, you just gotta know that to understand Dr. Roxo the Rock and Roll Clown.
I have a friend who will still quote that guy to this fucking day.
In fact, I don't know if people know. I mean, that was how I made my bard in in Baldur's Gate 3 was a tribute to Nathan Explosion.
I think my favorite gag of the entire thing is how everybody has like dad issues except for Nathan.
Yeah.
Like there's that moment like, oh, I all hate our dads. I love my fucking dad. It cuts to this like montage of him hanging out with his dad.
Yeah.
It's so fucking wholesome.
It's great. Also, the music is fucking great in that show.
The music is so fucking good. There's a reason they played live and people went.
Yeah.
Like these guys are the real fucking deal.
Yep. So yeah, if you are out there like, I'm tired of all of this revival stuff, this was great because it's been so long since I thought about Metalocalypse that I was like, oh yeah, I could go for some Metalocalypse.
Yeah, I'm happy that it and Venture Brothers turned out to be really good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that Aqua Teen one was not very good.
Plantasm.
Yeah.
It was not. It was kind
not
of
very good.
Bleh.
Which is a shame. But I'm glad the other two that I was really looking forward to for their story turned out to be really good.
Yep. What about you? Did you think last week?
I've been keeping up with what we do in the shadows, which has been a lot of fun. If you guys haven't seen the new season, have you watched any of it?
It's been real up and down. It hasn't grabbed me as hard to the point where I'm not like, oh my god, it's Thursday, I gotta watch the new one.
Okay, so I can at least mention like the beginning premise of it.
Yeah,
which is that the idea is that at the end of the last season, Guillermo paid his good friend Derek, who used to be a vampire hunter, is now a vampire, to turn him into a vampire. Except now he's done it, but it's not taking for
working.
Some reason.
Yeah.
He can't figure out why. And it turns out that if Nandor finds out, Nandor is honor bound to murder the shit out of him and then himself, and so he doesn't want that to happen.
I love how Laszlo reacts when he asks that question.
It's so fucking funny.
Mad about it.
Hypothetically, and he's just like, we're making jokes, but that's fucking gone too far. And then so Laszlo finds out about it, and so he's trying to find out what to do about it, but also finding ways to exploit it at the same time.
Right.
Meanwhile, Nadia finds out she has a hex that she hasn't been able to figure out how to get rid of, even though it's very obvious what you're supposed to do. Yeah. But she seems to ignore that part. But all that stuff together has been really funny, and so I've been really enjoying the season for the most part. And some of the stuff with Colin Robinson has been really funny.
Okay.
especially the episode where he gets a black eye. That episode,
I haven't seen that one yet.
Episode's really funny because there's another.
I saw the one where he was
the B plot
running for mayor.
He's running for comptroller.
Comptroller.
Because it turns out Sean, who's running, can't run.
Yeah.
Because he had 9 DUI. No, I don't remember. He had like multiples of them.
Yeah, that's one where they go to the Energy Vampire Council.
Yeah. It turns out they need his help because they're like, if there's no paperwork, then we can't get anything.
Yeah.
But they can't tell him because they keep sucking energy from themselves.
Right.
It's a really funny episode.
Yeah.
But it's been a really fun time. And then I've also been keeping up with my adventures with Superman. So that's also been a really, really fun time.
I keep meaning to go back and do that, but by the time I get through all of the normal animes I have to watch in a week, I'm always just like, I'm too drunk. I don't want to watch Superman right now.
That's fair. The funniest thing is it's the most anime Superman show they've ever made so far.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of anime influences.
I don't know. I
finished a ton of them.
One of the slots in my Friday anime viewing was a show from last season called Death Mount Play that I was keeping up with, and I finished that. So maybe Superman goes in. Maybe I'll start starting with Superman, or maybe end with Superman. I don't know.
They're at I think episode 10 as of us recording today will be the 10th one they're showing.
I watched
like
two.
A lot.
I watched 2 of them, and I liked what I saw so far.
It's a fun time.
Setup, so.
And it's full of Easter eggs for not just anime, or not just Superman, but also a lot of anime and random shit. Like there's one episode where somebody opens a closet full of weapons, and you're like, I recognize a bunch of these from just random ass animes.
Okay. Well, speaking of weapons, this podcast has the greatest weapon, a conference to go over.
A Jeff Keighley conference.
Oh my God, it made it so easy to get everything together this week because I was like, this is like 80%. I could just get the rest of it. So yeah, you didn't get a chance to watch this entire thing, yeah?
No, I watched the first 10, 15 minutes before I had to get back to work.
It went on and on and on. So let's we're and like I said, there's not a lot of giant, oh my God, I can't fucking believe it. It's more just here's something. There was a couple of new things, but nothing that was blasting your butt.
There was
off.
some interesting stuff from what I saw.
We started out with the man in the tiniest piano in the world playing some Starfield music with the live action stuff going on. I don't know what this. It's like a keyboard. But it's got it's got the thing the lid of a piano, but it's tiny. I
think it's just digital, and it's trying to mimic the look of one.
Yeah, but it just looks silly because now it looks like this giant man playing a tiny piano.
Well, they wanted it to be fancy, Jeff.
Yeah, it's classy. Jeff Keighley's all about that classiness, man.
They probably bought one of those ones with the fart noises originally, but he kept hitting them on accident.
Right.
And then he's like, "You guys, you can't use this one anymore."
I don't need you guys to sell me Starfield, bro. I'm gonna get Starfield, man.
Yeah, if you're watching Gamescom, your odds are you're probably already going to buy Starfield.
I mean, you can
at least play it.
You can at least get Game Pass and check it out. So yeah, I mean, they had a little montage, they had a little live action bit. It's. I often wonder sometimes, could you guys have just saved your entire advertising budget and just been people know people know that this game is coming out. I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe.
Well, the thing is, we have to remember we are terminally online for games. That's the other thing I have to preface. So not everybody knows that the existence of Starfield outside of all of gaming.
Right. I guess that's true. Now, here's a question. I couldn't remember. Did we know there was going to be an early access for Starfield, or is this where it was originally announced?
I personally had no idea until yesterday when somebody was covering it for their own YouTube thing.
Okay, because I didn't either. It turns out that they're putting in early access to September 1st if you buy the collector's edition or higher.
So apparently there's there's a discount if you have the Game Pass thing.
Okay.
I forgot how much it said it was, but there was a discount if you tried doing that via Game Pass instead.
If you cancel your Game Pass, do you get to keep Starfield?
I don't know. That's
or you just get to keep the DLC, the deluxe edition DLC, but not the base game.
I'll have to look into that because that was the thing. I was like, what is going on with this? Because it's a very strange thing to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels like their way of trying to get money out of the people who were going to wait for Game Pass.
Right.
Which is strange.
It actually does. That's actually not it's a relatively smart way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Put it on Game Pass, but if you want to play it a week early, you got to buy it, and it's like, oh, now we're gonna get money on top of Game Pass, right?
Because the early release is on Friday, so it gives you people even more of an incentive to want to do that.
Right.
Whereas the 6th is a Wednesday,
something like that.
And so it's so people are like, well, I want to play the game over my weekend,
right?
So maybe I should do that kind of thing. Whereas if I wait, I'm gonna have to play it in the middle of the week like some sort of weirdo.
Yeah,
it's just it's just interesting that way.
It kind of bums me out because it means that instead of having like a week and a half to play Armored Core 6, I have 1 week to the day to play Armored Core 6 before I got to get up on that Starfield.
Yeah, it's very fast how fast some of these things are doing.
And then they brought out Todd Howard, and it talked about Starfield.
Oh, here it is. So the digital premium upgrade cost is $35.
Oh,
so I'm guessing if you're doing it on Game Pass, that's how much it'll be.
Okay.
Because it says if you buy the physical upgrade, it's $100 with the game.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that's how it's supposed to work.
God, I don't let myself get really hyped up for stuff, but I really hope they don't fucking pooch this thing.
They're either gonna mess it up or it's just gonna get judged more harshly because of Baldur's Gate,
right?
Because no one could have foresaw that happening.
Yeah,
that's the interesting part.
mean, all I really care about, it's like a fucking house flipping show. All I really care about is where that shit has good bones, because we always have mods and patches and fan patches and mod patches and patch mods and stuff that can happen later on.
Plus, people are going to make some really interesting ships. Yeah. Somebody, I guess, I don't know if it was a reviewer or not, who had early access to it, already made like a makeshift Millennium Falcon out of what they have. Yeah. And somebody made Todd Howard as their character.
Yeah, they mentioned that on here. As Jeff Keighley is like, oh, he saw somebody made Todd Howard. He's like, I don't really believe that. So, if you were, I have a feeling it would be funny if they like get the sliders for Todd Howard, and if you try to make Todd Howard, the game just like randomizes it. Like every time you put the sliders right where they should be for Todd Howard, it just like completely makes a different face.
So that's why you got to give him a mohawk and a wheelchair, Jeff.
Yes, exactly.
Completely different.
From there, they announced this was a new game. We didn't know about this. Little Nightmares 3 is coming out.
That one did catch me off guard.
It's kind of weird where it's like, oh, that's fine. Looks like more Little Nightmares, all right. Like, you got 2 little weirdos, little tiny guys. They're walking around behind big monsters. They're a little bit weirder looking. Like, one of them's got a crow mask. One of them's wearing, like, a clown head or something.
I was about to say, it's the nicest I think the series has ever looked, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if they used Unreal Engine, probably. Because it's really nice looking.
I don't know.
Because the others felt more indie-like, where this one feels a lot more like they got more of a budget for some reason.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I've never finally like gotten into one of these and played it all the way to the end. Like I've
never either, to be honest.
Play it for the show and then just kind of done. So
I'm happy that it's lasted as long as it has,
Yeah. This goes to show you make a spooky game, get spooky prizes. They also announced they're putting out a podcast, like a narrative, like 8-part podcast or something that you can go listen to. They actually, what was the name of it? They show, The Sounds of Nightmares, which I'm like, oh, okay,
sure,
cool.
There's too many podcasts, guys.
And then they walked behind another guy, but this one was even worse than the last one.
I would love if it was like bad Foley work, like thunder, and it's just like a guy smacking his hands together.
What if we make a new podcast? We're gonna put the RageSelect podcast away. We're just gonna make a new podcast where we take whatever the video game. Whatever the most popular video game is at the moment, like Starfield, come out, and we're just going to do, quote unquote, a recap, but we're just going to do it really badly. We're like, okay, so you start the game, and then you make a guy. All right, and then that guy, he shoots some guys, and then you have to talk to another guy. And that guy's like, you got to go to this planet. And so you get your ship, and you go to that planet.
I always had an idea that I think one of these days somebody should do is do Drunk History, but with video game plots. like just get you super wasted and ask you the plot of Metal Gear Solid, and then go.
The problem, I couldn't be on that show because the problem for me is that I talk for a living and my autonomic responses would just kick in. I wouldn't even be thinking about it, and then I would just, it'd be like you just fucking shake my head, and then it's like I'm stone cold sober reciting like in 1979 in the Soviet Union, like Big Boss infiltrates
the Cold War.
So yeah, from there they showed that Black Myth Wukong game, which is the weird Monkey King game being made by one guy. It's like a lot of like third person action. Looks like it's got a little bit of like kind of soulsiness to the combat.
Yeah,
but,
it's trying to go for that look too.
Yeah. This is one of the ones where I feel like the compression on the video didn't do this thing any favors.
No,
like
it did not.
It looks very kind of muddy, and I'm sure the game itself looks better, but I don't know. Are you interested in this? I guess this has come up a few times over the years, but like
it's tricky because like I like the idea of games like this. Yeah, and I like the Monkey King as a character because he's usually like a fun, loving kind of thing, or depending on like the versions of them. But it all depends on really what is it that you're doing, I guess.
Right.
Like why are you fighting these things? Like is there an actual plot, or does it try to be too much like Souls where it doesn't tell you anything and you have to gather what's happening?
Yeah.
And your character says jack shit.
And is it compel? A lot of times I feel like, because I'm pretty sure that this is like is this a Chinese game?
Most
right?
likely.
Like a Chinese developer? Because I'm relatively certain that like I've played some Chinese games in the past where it feels like it's missing the last like 15% of the polish that I would need to really love a thing, where it's just a little rough around the edges in a way where I don't quite get into it. It doesn't quite grab me.
Like you look at them and you're like, man, this looks really good, but then you're like, it's made by one guy in China or something, and you're like, that looks great for that, but then you play it and then it turns out to be like, yeah, like you said, what was that one game we played with the shooter and that one really weird ass one,
like the side scrolling one.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember.
That one has that sort of idea.
Yeah,
where you're like, this is really cool, but also not at the same time.
It goes back to that thing we talked about a little while back. What was that? That escapist thing about how it was like, I don't play good games or whatever. Where it was like, this is okay, but like, goddamn, dude, I have to pick between Baldur's Gate, Armored Core, and Starfield right now, and that's not to talk about fucking Spider-Man 2 and all the other shit that's coming out right around the corner. Like, I'm not wanting for good games.
Yeah.
I even have that Shadow Gambit game came out.
Oh yeah,
like just queued up. Blasphemous 2 came out today as we're recording. Like they're not even. They've got this is a fucking UHF, man. You got to drink from the fire hose. Like
2003 has been a hell of a year for gaming.
2023. 2023?
What did I say?
2003.
Oh, yes. It also,
I wasn't sure. 2003 was probably a great year for gaming.
2003, if I remember correctly, was also a good year for gaming. But yes, 2023 is a very good year for gaming. I accidentally said 2003 because I got The Last of Us in 4K earlier today.
Oh, let's see. What do we got? Tony Hawk Underground, Final Fantasy X2, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Prince of Persia Sand of Time, Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good year.
Beyond Good and Evil, Call of Duty, the first Call of Duty.
Oh my God, 2003 was the year of infamy.
Manhunt, and Beautiful Joe.
Oh hell yeah, 2003 was great. 2003 was awesome, as it turns out.
Yeah. So let's see from there. Oh yeah, right. I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of relationship Jeff Keighley has with Tripwire Entertainment, because the next thing is Killing Floor 3, and like for all the world, Michael, Killing Floor is not a game that should be at the fucking Gamescom opening night in Cologne, third after Starfield, Little Nightmares, and The Monkey King. Like I don't know. Maybe this is just a way more popular franchise than I thought, but like. I've
met no one who's ever played them.
I mean, I understood why Maneater worked, right? Like, that was fun. But this whole just like, don't you want to play weird Left 4 Dead with cyber zombies forever? And I'm like, no, not really.
I don't know. I don't get it. People seem to really like it.
I mean, it's got, it was a nice little teaser. But sure. Speaking of games I don't really give a shit about, Age of Empires 4.
It's reimagined, Jeff.
Yeah, the anniversary edition. Well, the big thing here was they actually went back and did a bunch of work to make it work on consoles.
Oh, okay.
And so as of right now, it's on the Xbox. It's on Game Pass on the Xbox.
Oh, okay.
And they put in. It wasn't just like, oh, we made a virtual mouse. It was like they put in like all these new mechanics. I watched a little bit of one of the things about it, where it's like, oh, instead of assigning like your workers to individual things, there's like a bunch of macros that you can just switch between that are like, I want more workers harvesting, I want more workers, making stuff type of thing. So
I like that idea a lot, actually.
Yeah. Because RTS on console is never the biggest thing in the world.
Oh, it's impossible.
Let's see. From there, we got Zack Snyder.
Yeah. Zack Snyder's like, I just made Star Wars, guys. Like, we didn't even pretend that lightsabers weren't a thing.
I don't know, man. People keep saying that, but I'm like, this looks like Star Wars if it was bad. It's like, because like half of it is just fucking like cornfields and like people wearing like rags and stuff, and then like, I don't know. This trailer was exhausting to me. I like sci-fi. I will watch the first one of these. I will, and I will use it as either an excuse to say, "Good job, Zack Snyder. You're getting better at doing shit when you don't have to deal with franchises that I like. When you just get to go do your own thing, you're fine." But this looked exhausting to me, and to be honest, this trailer didn't tell me anything. It was just so many one-liners. I was like, I don't know what the fuck any of this is. Is she the chosen one? Who's the Rebel Moon? Which one of you is called Rebel Moon? Like,
I kept cracking up because he already announced there's a director's cut gonna happen, and you're like, guys, just make it a miniseries then,
right,
or something. Like, what is wrong with you people?
I hate the look of it. I hate everything is dark. Everything is so dark. Everything is like
that's his jam.
I don't know, man.
It probably also covers up the CG.
Maybe. There were a couple things. There was like that big spider lady, and there's some like, some explosions, and saw Jimon Hansu. He's in there. I like that guy.
That dude's fantastic. I love him. He was another good part of Gran Turismo.
Also, that guy that was the Wasp, or no, the Yellow Jacket. That Yellow Jacket guy,
yeah.
He's in there. I thought it was Ben Kingsley at first, but
I thought that for a second too.
I don't know. It looks like Mortal.
But so is the Pacific Rim dude.
You know what? Oh no. Okay. Do you know what it reminds me of? I just figured it out. What was that movie where Channing Tatum was a werewolf that roller skated?
Oh, the one that last Jupiter
Ascending. Yes, that's what this reminds me of. Is Jupiter Ascending.
That's not a good thing, guys.
No, which was actually kind of an endorsement because I didn't hate that movie as much as everybody else
you're the
did.
guy.
I'm the guy. Or Valerian.
Valerian?
Remember Luc Besson thing with Rihanna and
that was the thing that
two
happened.
Weirdos? Like one of those. And like, I don't know. I'm all in favor. Like, I do want to say that I don't want to preemptively shit on this because I sit here on this podcast complaining all the time that I'm like, I want them to make new stuff. I don't want it to just be like, oh, we're going to remake Battlestar Galactica again, right? Like, there's a lot of art direction and special effects that went into this trailer. The thing is that it just went on for like 4 minutes and there was I couldn't tell what the fuck it was trying to tell me. Like,
that's the thing. I've never really actually hated Zack Snyder as a person or anything.
Yeah.
He always seems like the nicest person like on the planet.
Oh, sure.
It's just that I just hated his take on one very specific universe that unfortunately took over not only the internet but his career for quite some time.
Yeah.
Where if you mention his name, that's all people talk about.
Yeah.
Whereas nobody even brings up his good movies anymore.
It's like Sucker Punch.
People have tried to defend that movie now as if it was an unseen masterpiece. Yeah. Like, you guys need to sit your ass down. Like,
and watch Sucker Punch again.
Don't do that. Like, you sit down. Don't even pretend that movie was good. But yeah, I want Zack Snyder to succeed. I'm having a hard time saying succeed because Snyder for some reason stuck in my head.
Yeah,
it's a Snyder seed, I guess.
It's
the seed. Yeah, because I want to find out if the Snyder fans actually like Snyder, or if it turns out they only liked one really random specific thing for some reason.
Or like, does if he makes a good movie, do they still like him?
Yeah, will they follow him? Will they follow him outside of the Snyderverse into an actual Snyderverse?
Because you know what? Oh my God. You know what would be great is if he makes this, and one, if it's a good movie, and then two, if the fucking Snyder fans, they're all just like, fuck Superman. You guys had your time to do it. It's for babies. We're all over here in fucking hardcore Star Wars now. We're all big fans of hardcore. Let Zack Snyder take over The Mandalorian. This is the new petition. And I'm just like, yes, go over there to that cesspool and fight each other.
Oh, that cesspool fight is going to be so fucking funny. The two most toxic people on the planet are just going to murder the shit out of each other.
Anyway, I don't know. The visuals look nice, but I can't tell what the fuck is supposed to be happening. So
I don't know either. But the fact that he already has a director's cut in his head for a 2-part movie already.
Yeah, the fact that there's 2 parts, December 22nd, April 19th of next year.
It's
like
insane. Yeah, just make it a miniseries if you're going to do that, dude.
Anyway, it's too much of Zack Snyder. Actually, that's not true because I feel like we're going to be able to zip through this. Crimson Desert, it's one of these online MMO things. I could say, honestly, Michael, that I feel like this is the 8th time I've seen this game, and I don't give a shit about it now either. Like,
they keep trying to make this sort of idea happen.
It's like open world, medieval fantasy, also online.
I never thought that we would live in a world with too many MMOs.
Yeah. There is a part in here that they show like where you can drift on a horse that's pretty cool. But
that is pretty cool.
I don't see. Look at that horse drift. That was a pretty good little horse drift.
It was. That was fun.
Yeah. I don't.
That horse is dead, by the way.
I don't want to play. I don't know. Like.
Sorry, there's a sequence where a guy, like Yoshi, jumped off of his horse.
Yeah.
And I was like, that horse is fucking dead.
And then he turned into birds of some sort, some kind of birds. There's a lot of like being in the air in this trailer. Also, this is another one of those trailers that goes on for so long where I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, what's the point?
I think it's an MMO. It's probably not even this exciting when you play it.
I think I've seen this before. I think this is an Unreal 5 game. I could be mistaken.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's the new hotness right now
with all the particles that I'm seeing in here. I don't know, man. Maybe it's going to be great. There was one of those free-to-play MMO online things. Came out like 2 weeks ago. Downloaded on the PlayStation 5. Didn't even turn it on. Never booted it up. So I don't know. Maybe it's going to be great, and I'm a big poopy head, but it also could be the fact that it reminds me of what was a Black Desert Online. Is that the one I'm thinking of? That was
Maybe? I don't remember.
Another kind of like console action MMO that I didn't want to have anything to do with. I don't know.
I don't remember the name of it.
I'm going to put in the cabinet next to Naraka Blade Point and like all those games that I don't care about. Let's see. Ice-T wants you to play Payday 3. Ice-T has a specific Payday 3 mission.
Really?
Yes. That is just for him. And then they show a trailer, and I'm going to say the same thing I said before. I apologize, Payday fans. This looks like, if you told me this was Payday 2 expansion, I couldn't tell you that it was anything different.
Same, actually.
It's a bunch of guys sneaking into a place, and then suddenly everybody's shooting, and you got to shoot a gajillion cops, and you're trying to get away, and the guys have masks on at the end.
But when does Ice-T come in?
I think you're doing the job for Ice-T.
Oh, okay.
Like Ice-T is the one that gave you your job. And
what was he? Water Eye or something like that? No, he's Water T.
Water T.
But he was Ice Eye or something like that.
This is in like a port, I guess. It's not in a bank, but okay. Sure. I mean, also, I keep forgetting. Payday 3 comes out in like 3 weeks. So
yeah, it does, doesn't it? Completely forgot about that.
September 21st.
There's too many games, guys.
Yeah, too many fucking games. Oh my God. Speaking of too many games, we got too many games on this list. We got Assassin's Creed Mirage trailer. This one is all in the native language that they have here.
Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend I know what it is.
Which was interesting. I think they had talked about that before, because it's, the people here would not be speaking English in this time period.
Well, it used to go based on like comic book roles, where it's like translated from whatever, but they'd be speaking English kind of thing.
I gotta say, Michael, I don't know if they've tuned it or if they've listened to the RageSelect podcast. The lighting looks a lot better in this trailer than I feel like I've seen in a lot of the other ones. It looks a lot more like a modern game, which I'm like, well, that's good. I wish you would have done that in the first place, because before it kind of looked poopy, and now it looks cooler.
Well, before we were joking that it looked like it was an actual 360 game.
Right.
You're like, oh, this is a 360 game somebody canceled, and they found the files too.
But this one actually has like lighting.
Yeah.
Like contrast. It doesn't all look kind of like blended together. So
I hope this game turns out to be good, by the way, guys. I want Assassin's Creed to be the thing I fell in love with instead of this weird RPG thing they do nowadays.
I agree. I want to make it clear that for all the shit that I talk about Assassin's Creed, I also want this to be good. I mean, I was saying that back when they said, "Oh, it's going to be 8 to 20 hours or something like that."
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be like a fucking 6,000-hour game. But yeah, this looks a lot better. Like, I don't know what the fuck they did, but it looks a lot better than it has in a lot of the other previews.
Just a little bit of changes, but it was the world of difference.
Yep. And that's October 5th. Let's see. From there, we had to talk to the lady from Gamescom who said, "Come to Gamescom." And then Harada came out to talk about Tekken 8. He discussed a little bit about... I don't even remember. I was awestruck.
I can't remember exactly what he said either, because sometimes I zone out when he talks, because the translator's so bland sometimes.
I think the weird thing was they had the trailer for it, and like it was all this Tekken. It was all these Tekken guys Tekkening it up all over the Tekken. They were Tekkening each other so hard. And then it talks about how it's like a single... Well, okay, first off, let's talk about the fighters, right? Because you saw a bunch of people here that I don't think had been announced before. Like, it was that guy that last week was telling him if Yoshimitsu isn't in the game, I'm going to fucking kill you or something.
Turns out he is in the game.
Yoshimitsu is in the game.
And he won't have to be worried about being murdered.
Some jacks. What was there anybody in this lineup that you didn't know was going to be in there that you were excited to see?
No, as far as I know, the ones they showed off were the ones that, for the most part, have had a trailer that I remember at least. The problem is some Tekken guys tend to blend in together after a while.
Okay.
Because I don't remember their names as much as I do like other fighting game characters. Because I have friends who like Tekken was their jam the whole way through. Yeah. But there were some people they did announce.
Once you showed me that coffee lady, that was all. I'm made in that coffee lady forever. Coffee for life.
That was pretty fun.
But what's so interesting is they show all these Tekken guys doing their Tekkens, and then they show the single player, and it's like a bunch of little like chibi. What do they call them on the Nintendo?
Their avatars?
The amiibos. No.
Oh, you're talking about the Mii avatars or whatever?
They have names, right?
They're just called Miis, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
MII.
They're like little Nintendo Miis, except this girl has like a winter sweater and Goro Majima's fucking snakeskin pants on. I don't understand what the fuck that is, but and they're like walking around playing Tekken inside of a weird... It's like the Street Fighter 6 thing, except apparently like this is the story. There's like a story mode that involves your create a character playing Tekken. Like,
it's kind of like an RPG-ish type thing, but it's a lot different than what the World Tour did.
Right.
And I think it's weird as shit.
Yeah.
But like, I get they need to make themselves different in some ways.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. The thing I really like about this trailer, it shows like all the different outfits that you can put on different characters.
Yeah, I don't understand why that fish turned into a rocket though.
Because reasons, Jeff.
Okay, sure.
You don't need to understand Kuma. You just need to understand that Kuma can murder you if you wanted to.
It was Mishima Heavy Industries fish over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's the family bear.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Tekken 8 looks good. It looks like a lot of Tekken for Tekken people. Tekken for Tekken people.
It's very exciting.
Also, I think this was the first time we saw a date, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, we didn't have a date. We all thought it might come out at the end of the year or something. But
yeah.
I'm glad. Like, January has been a very interesting time for gaming the past few years. Because lately people have been actually releasing actual big games on that time frame.
Push it out of the big crush and then into the Q1 of next year.
Like February was stacked at one point.
January 26th. Well, didn't Elden Ring come out in February?
Yeah.
Like 2021?
Both came out around the same time.
Was Elden Ring 2021 or 2022?
It was a 2022 game because God of War was 2022.
Huh.
If I remember correctly.
Okay. Let's see.
We'll find out from the chats,
Modern
the comments.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to disable the live chat replay. I don't understand. Like, I was looking at one of the Xbox Gamescom, like, oh, we're gonna sit down with Phil Spencer and talk about Xbox stuff. And then people are just like, PlayStation, and I'm like, what are you doing? That's not this is not your place. Get out of here.
People are really weird about that shit lately.
You're like, if you went into fucking Wendy's and you're just like, oh man, it sucks that I have to be in this Wendy's when McDonald's is right next door. It's like, sir, you need to get out of here.
Sir, what the fuck's wrong with you?
we saw Modern Warfare 3. I actually did pay some amount of attention to Modern Warfare 3. They talked about so there's a few different things they talked about. They talked about how like the levels in the game are going to be these big open. There's big kind of open battlefields where you could pick to sneak in, or you can just go like guns a-blazing or whatever. So they're trying to make it a little bit less like I think of an on-rails directed experience the way that a lot of the previous Modern Warfare stuff is.
They're trying to do the Fallout kind of. Or not Fallout, Far Cry kind of way.
Yeah, I think that Modern Warfare has been working towards something like this. They had the little like battlefield things that they did a couple of games ago, right? Where it was like they're supposed to be like short co-op, but like if you can do a level a bunch of different ways, I think that probably gives you more reasons to go back and replay it with people in co-op. So they also announced zombies. We're going to come back to zombies though later. And
zombies was missing for a while, wasn't it?
I can't keep track anymore. I don't think it was in Modern Warfare 2.
I think the last time it was there was one of the Black Ops, probably.
Okay.
I'm feeling again.
Once
don't quote me on that.
Once they started doing both, okay, we've got zombies, and now we've got like the alien abduction mode.
I think that's what they replaced it with. I think.
So yeah, then they had a trailer where they show the guys coming from a submarine and breaking into the prison. Mike, I gotta tell you, I was watching this, like I had my eyes looking at my screen, and my eyes kept just drifting over to like my email. I mean, I don't know, it's like a bunch of dudes in a rainy castle shooting guys with silencers, and then at one point they put on the night vision goggles, and I'm like, I've seen this before. The only thing that's different is that they're in like a weird prison castle thing, but it's night, it's raining, everything is wet, and these special operators are sneaking around killing guys in their night vision, and I'm like, yeah, that was the fucking tanker at the beginning of Modern Warfare. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I've seen this too many times. So
no, I get it, but that's the issue with shooter story modes, especially modern shooter type ones.
Yeah,
is it's harder to come up with like exciting reasons for anybody to even need to go in to shoot anybody.
Yeah.
Because nowadays it'll be like, well, just send all the drones and bomb everything in the area.
Right.
So you're like, why do I need a good reason to why they need like these specific dudes to show up in here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like that's the thing. It all comes down to the story around shooters.
Yeah.
That keeps me going nowadays than it does the set pieces the way it used to.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess Modern Warfare, I used to beat all the Call of Duties that came out because they're relatively short. And they started getting a lot longer, and I'm just like, I don't have any interest in playing Call of Duty for that long. So,
well, they also got less interesting too.
Yeah,
like the last one I think I remember really thinking was interesting was Black Ops 2.
Also, I gotta say that I've become a like a wiener. Like when the first Modern Warfare came out, there was a level that you played where you had night vision goggles on, and you were running through like an apartment building looking for terrorists, and it was like. It looked too real when I shot the guys, and I was just like, and then like, remember back when we talked about that one, was it Battlefield, when they had that expansion, that trailer in the Pacific where they're just like torching guys with a flamethrower, and I'm like, I don't think I want to do this even for fun at this point.
You're like this isn't fun anymore, guys. This is actual war now.
They look too realistic. Can I have mechs or zombies or medieval fantasy or something?
Can they wear red and blue? This is getting kind of weird.
The last one had you sneaking over the border. Do you remember that part? You're like running through all the houses in fucking South Texas. Like,
it's a very strange fucking series.
It was really weird. Anyway, this goes on and on and on until they sneak into the prison, and then at the end, I mean, like, whatever. It's Modern Warfare. Let's see. From there, they showed Nightingale. They showed some Nightingale, which is that weird like Victorian survival game where you go through the portal, and then everybody's got to survive, and it's like a multiplayer thing, and I don't want to play it.
I wish I did, because the very first trailer they did was so cool.
Yep.
And then they're like, and then we have to do it together. And I'm like, fuck. And then like immediately we knew what it was.
And then we have survival mechanics and multiplayer mechanics. It's like,
It's like you wasted all these really good designs on this bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know.
Even the plot sounds really cool, but then it's like you're never really going to have a plot. It's just like an outline.
Yeah.
That's what frustrates me.
I don't know. Maybe there's a bunch of dinosaur elephants in here and like weird dudes and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it ends up being really fun. But I think they announced the when it's going into early access. Yeah, February of 2024.
Okay.
It's going into early access. So from there, we got another trailer for Grand Blue Fantasy, the Grand Blue Fantasy RPG, the world of Grand Blue Fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just so fucking weird that that this is a thing. I mean, you know, and it actually looks kind of fun. I mean, as long as those dudes, those drinking fox dudes or whatever, are in there.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
It's been, you know what? I'm just gonna say, I think that it's of all. I still rail a little bit about arena fighter animes or games, and how I think anime fans deserve better. But I gotta say that no matter what else you got to say, modern game engines have become a lot better at making anime-looking motherfuckers. They look really good now. Like their hair looks good and their faces look good, and they don't look like shit anymore.
It doesn't take as much effort to make that type of design now than it used to, because before it used to be like a necessity. Now it's like, oh, we just do it because it looks really cool, because now everybody wants to be super ultra realistic, so it's easier to make anime as fuck people now. I
don't know, but I watched this trailer and I'm just like, you know how I didn't want to play that Nightingale game? I do kind of want to play this game. Like, it's got all kinds of anime craziness. It's like dragons and airships and fucking people blasting on stuff. Like,
it's really cool.
Like a bunch of weird summons coming out and like people looking wistfully into the distance and shit. Like, yeah,
that's your jam.
That's my jam right there. Well, plus I gotta say that I was so pleasantly surprised when we played Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
I was too.
Like, it was just like, oh shit. So I'm willing to give you another shot. Like, if they made a single player game out of that other Arc System Works game that we played that was based on the like weird online, where literally the character was called like Shooter or
Dungeon Fighter.
DNF. Yeah. Like, they made a single player DNF game, I'd be like, yeah, I'll give that a shot.
Yeah,
like,
I might too, actually, to be honest.
Arc System Works seems like they kind of know what they're doing somehow.
I kind of love it.
February 1st, next year. Boom. PS5, PS4, and Steam. And then we had Immortals of Avium, which is already out. I haven't tried it yet. I installed it, but everybody keeps saying it runs like ass.
I was surprised. We had a hard time looking at it on some of those early trailers.
Yeah.
Also, I finally realized that the guy who's the main character, he was also in that Gran Turismo movie.
Oh.
He plays one of the side characters in the movie.
Oh, shit.
So he's like, oh, that's kind of neat.
He's all in on that video game stuff. I still want to give it a shot. I mean, next week, spoiler alert, next week you and me are going to try this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, so we're finally going to get a chance to know, like, is this any good? Is it fun? Like, I think it's one of those, like, you know, we've been waiting for so long and looking at it, I'm just like, I can't tell where this game is going to be fun or not. And it's like, I know, I'll wait for the Metacritic score. And I think it's got like a 65 on Metacritic. I'm like, well, that doesn't tell me anything.
No,
it could
be
wonderful trash, or it could be actually bad at that score.
Yeah, that's the kind of score you're like, oh, well, now I have to decide for myself, because there's no way I know now.
Fortunately, I pay for that EA subscription, so I was able to just fucking get it.
I keep forgetting its name, too.
What? Oh, the game, Immortals of Avium. Yeah,
that's not a game that
bad
rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, we're in the Hoyoverse.
Oh yeah, the waifu-verse.
Because for some reason, again, also I feel like Jeff Keighley is all hooked up with the Hoyoverse. Genshin Impact always shows up when Jeff Keighley's around for some reason.
Very strange.
But yeah, we started by talking about Zenless Zone Zero. So we got Genshin Impact, we've got Honkai Star Rail that you and I played, and this is the next one, Zenless Zone Zero, which is more of a kind of sci-fi character action game. I
forgot that was even a thing.
I think that if you were going to play any of these, I think that you would like this one the best.
I have a friend who really likes the Star Rail one.
Yeah, I've never gotten the impression that you cared for the turn-based JRPG combat. So
I am, depending on what it is, but if it's like an MMO typey thing, like for what it was, that's not like really the thing I want to do.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
This one is like a real. You know, oh my god! I just realized what this looks like.
What was that?
Okay, we're watching this trailer. It looks exactly like Inkopolis if they were regular people and not squids.
Oh God!
Like that's what they're. I'm getting the Inkopolis vibes off of like their little headphones and their jackets and everything.
Yeah, I actually could see that now. Actually, yeah, looking at it now, it's like, oh shit, they're just kids now instead of squids.
Yep. And then also there's a wolf guy. There's like a furry wolf man.
That's everybody's favorite character.
There's like an art. They show this weird thing. They've got a bunch of like arcade games that you could just play inside of the game. Like there's another trailer that was later on where it's like
I want him to snake.
yeah, you can like go to the music shop and then you get bonuses for what music you buy at the music shop. But then when you're playing, it's like teams of 3 in these kind of like third person action battles. They remind me a little bit of like what was that? Scarlet Nexus?
Oh yeah.
Or Crimson Veil?
Well, Scarlet
Code
Nexus
Veil
was a game.
Code Vein.
Oh yeah, I know
the vampire one.
Yeah.
That kind of like when we get these weird off the cuff third person semi-action like good art and then really big following, but nobody fucking knows what I'm talking about. Like a very small people know what I'm talking about.
It's tricky with some of the games like that because they have a very passionate fan base.
Yeah,
but yeah, this one looks like it's going to have a very passionate fan base.
It's got a lot. Like when you look at the action, you could be like, you know, oh man, I can see the wanting to unlock more characters because it's got like they're doing a really good job with their bread and butter, which is creating a whole bunch of different really unique characters so you get really attached to one.
Yeah,
and you want to like either level them up or do whatever. But I don't know, man. Like they're doing a lot of camera zooms and a lot of camera shakes, and I like what I'm seeing so far. So
it's got a lot of potential. Yeah, we'll see if they try to over monetize it. Is really what it comes down to.
Honkai Star Rail was one I really actually kind of wanted to get back into, but it's just the year's been fucking packed, and that thing's like infinity. Like how long is it? Infinity. I'm like, I don't have time for infinity. Nobody's got time for that shit.
Well, it's also got like the thing a lot of those mobile type games have where it's like, well, you've played too much, you gotta wait until it recharges your stamina or whatever.
Yep.
So
we also got a trailer for Honkai Star Rail for some new characters that are coming to Honkai Star Rail. I don't, you know, I've said nice things about it. Leave me alone.
That's a trash can.
Yeah, it's like a new character, and then there's got these like weird mech guys. Yeah, and there's something about a trash can. Like they opened a trash can, and then
Which
like
Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, like these mech guys come out. So it's like these new characters. I love the fact. I mean, that was the thing I loved the most when we played it. Was like every third move in that game is some kind of limit break. Is some form of limit break. So
also, the main guy just had a bat.
Yeah,
everyone had like these super fancy things. Like I'm gonna hit you with this bat.
I'm gonna hit you with the bat. Oh yeah, it's coming to the PS5. It wasn't yet. It was on the PC before, right?
Okay.
So PS5, they're doing a technical test that's starting. It's already going on. So I don't know. And then they also showed off the other one.
I'm not even gonna say it because it's cursed.
Genshin Impact.
It's a cursed name, Jeff.
Genshin Impact.
So I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to summon them.
They showed like a little montage of all the stuff happening, and then like we're having a summertime funner time. I don't know, man. I didn't keep track of what the fuck was going on here.
People play the game.
Genshin Impact.
You guys tell us what it's about. I don't
There's
know.
some more Genshin Impact. Tell me when I can start a new character, because we fucking skipped over the beginning part, and I don't know. Then it was like, no, you can't restart the game ever, and I'm like, well, then I won't play the game ever.
Good job.
Oh yeah, they're also having a concert tour. It's popular enough that they're doing like a concert tour.
Good for them.
What was it? What did it show? Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Guadalajara, Boston, Osaka, Seoul, Los Angeles, Yokohama, Chicago, London, New York, and Dusseldorf. Cool. Nowhere near where I am. I'm not going to fucking Chicago. What's that?
You can go to LA, Jeff.
God, I want. Why?
So you can meet all the Genshin peoples.
Ooh, I can Genshin all them impacts.
Exactly. You can impact the Genshins or whatever.
Story trailer for Lords of the Fallen. This is another one of those ones where I don't know. Like sometimes we get these things where you know, you're watching E3 and you get really excited for like, oh, that's a new thing that I've never seen or heard of before. And then sometimes they show like a trailer for something where you're like, you guys have put out so many trailers for this. Like, I already know everything that's happening here. So I think I skipped a Lords of the Fallen trailer from last week.
It's a series that some people seem to have already not turned on. They're just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like nobody's clamoring or saying it's amazing already.
I mean, the last time I saw this, it was that big gameplay thing. I don't know if you were on when we did that, where it's just like all the animation was a little bit like, it was okay. It didn't have like the real impacts on it that I wanted. So
that's pretty funny. It's the guy with like spreading his wings and he gets shot with an arrow.
Yeah. Sonic
dun, 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 dun.
is my favorite game. I feel like they're showing off the multiplayer in that new 2D Sonic game.
Yeah.
Which we already knew was a thing, but
yes.
They showed a little bit more of it.
Is this trailer the one that showed off the outfits or whatever he might have later?
The outfits?
So I don't know if it was I don't remember where it was announced because there's a lot of Sonic fans on Twitter.
Okay.
But they announced that they made an outfit based on his original design when he was still a bunny.
Okay.
And so that's going to be like an unlockable outfit apparently in the game.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, this looks like a Sonic game. You got to go fast.
I hope it's a good Sonic game.
Got to go fast. I don't know.
That's the hard part about looking like a Sonic game.
I mean, this looks like a better Sonic game than the last Sonic game that they had.
That's true. We did not care about it.
Which they had a big trailer for. Sonic Frontiers is getting some DLC where Sonic and all of the Sonic gang are teaming up against a new angel from Neon Genesis Evangelion. And I don't know what happened before. He's using them Chaos Emeralds. He's going Super Sonic.
Yeah, it also turns out he can go Super Sonic too, apparently.
Yep.
Because now he's got blue eyes.
And yeah. Apparently, people really liked that Sonic Frontiers game.
Apparently, people got really excited about this trailer. The Sonic Twitters, at least, they did.
I don't know what part of Twitter you're on where there's that many Sonic fans.
It keeps popping up on my feed.
Oh, you need to switch back to following instead of for you because that's the problem right there.
Yeah, you said it to evil.
Yeah.
To Sonic. Chili dogs, mostly.
That's a bunch of cosplay junk. Yeah, this is a game called The First Descendant was the next thing from Nexon that's going to be a free-to-play game. This is giving off a lot of the same vibes to me as that Crimson Desert game, except it's like more science fiction than fantasy. It's just like a lot of like really kind of weirdly generic stuff going on. There's like this, you keep seeing this lady with their skin tight.
Yeah, that was super fucking tight. Holy shit.
Miranda from Mass Effect level of tightness to her stuff. It's like some kind of third-person shooter, but also it's Nexon, and I don't know, like it's free to play. Like if Nexon was making it, that's not necessarily a deal breaker. I think those guys are douchebags because of that whole dark and darker thing. Yeah. But like if it was a single player game I could spend money on, I would trust them to try to give me a good reason. But this just looks like a Warframe ripoff.
Oh yeah, but with more asses.
Yeah, with gigantic a lot more asses. Anime asses to it. But like, I bet that each one of their suits is going to be a different microtransaction or something.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I don't know. I may be just biased to the point where I'm like, if it's online and it's multiplayer, I just immediately deduct 20 points. I'm like, you started at 80.
Yeah.
Like
you have to work your way up. And then, because there's so many of these types of games. Like Warframe is one of the few that people actually talk about in good light.
Yeah.
Like even Destiny fans don't talk about Destiny in good light anymore.
That's true.
And they used to love that fucking series.
Yeah, so I don't know. They're doing like a technical test for this. I mean, the one thing I'll say is that anymore it's kind of nothing looks bad. No, like the graphical quality is good. But I don't know. I just get real weirded out when it comes to here's a third-person free-to-play game made by Nexon.
Well, there's just so many of these, like between it, Godfall, Warframe. With there's some others that exist that don't exist anymore because of that very reason. So, yeah.
Yep. I was trying to figure if I could get us somewhere interesting before we have to take a break here, but I don't know that we do. Let's just power through. We got another trailer for Under the Waves. This is that undersea exploration game that we saw, I believe, at Summer Games Live, right? That looks good. It's like very narrative focused. There's a whole voiceover happening here where it's like a wife being like, when are you going to come home from like the bottom of the ocean? I still got shit to do. So
shit to do, Karen.
Yeah. That's coming out.
It's my passion.
This week. So, right?
Oh, yeah. It's
August 29th. Yeah.
Wait, no, next week. Wait, no.
Well, yeah, but this comes out on Sunday. It'll be Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember.
That's a Game Pass commercial. Fort Solis got Troy Baker to come out and talk about Fort Solis.
Okay.
Which is like some kind of weird narrative thing. It is getting really, really bad reviews on Steam right now.
Really?
It's like a third person, like kind of. You remember Deliver Us Mars? Remember we played that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, where you're very much on rails. You don't have a lot of like direct autonomy about where you're going, but a lot of people online seem to be like, well, you don't have any like real, there's no choice to be had about where you go, but then also the story isn't very good, so it's like,
that's a shame.
So it's like a walking simulator, but then it doesn't even have like a really good story to back it up. So
that's a shame, because the people that they got apparently for those voices are really good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest, I think we need to try it, because I found out that this is one of those ones that has a trial on the PlayStation.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect. I'd like to play 40 minutes and see what I think.
See what it goes. Yeah, Troy Baker and Roger Clark in a game again would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Fucking how much? What do we have? Nope. Yep. All right. We just gotta fucking wrap it up. I was looking through the stuff, and there's like some fun stuff coming up, but we don't have time. We're already over 1 hour, so we'll have to come back next time. Again, we're looking at the trailer for Fort Solis. I think it looks really good. I keep looking at trailers and going like, wow, that seems pretty exciting, but I guess if it's all just kind of like a Detroit Become Human QuickTime event, then like it could be bad. But
yeah, that's the thing. Like, if the story is bad, that really hinders it quite a bit.
Yeah, but I don't know.
We'll see we'll see when we see it.
Yeah, at some point. Anywho. With that, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. If you've been like, God, guys, come on, well, get ready, because the second half of this is where all the actual red meat is. So stick around, and we'll be back in a minute with those burgers. You know what time it is. We got to go fast. We got to be like Sonic the Hedgehog. You got to eat a bunch of chili dogs.
We just talked about Sonic.
No, we do. We got to go. Yeah, next up was Expeditions, a Mud Runner game, which is Mud Runner is like that like hardcore off-road driving simulator where you got a bunch of like gears and pulleys and winches and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay,
sure, I guess
this is some PC gaming show bullshit right here.
It really is.
That's coming out 2024. The Crew Motorfest is coming out in September. In case you were missing Forza Horizon this year, apparently the Crew Motorfest is just your Ubisoft brand Forza Horizon.
Oh, pretty much.
That's coming out next month in September, and with a bunch of like, they're so desperate they're giving away a 5-hour free trial to the game. So
like, please love us again.
Come on, you know you want to.
Remember when we made you good games?
Yeah. From there, we got a trailer for Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. This was a really interesting trailer. I don't know if you saw this, Michael, because it's not about Phantom Liberty. It's about all the changes that they're making to the engine. So they talk a lot about like the revamped skill system, new skills that are being added in, new weapons that you can use. The cyberware system has been overhauled. All that like stuff. And I don't know, like I'm really glad that I waited and didn't play it, because this seems like a much better experience than what was in the vanilla game. They revamped the whole cop system, and now like if you get 5 stars, Max Tech will show up with just like the super heavy guys. There's like more vehicle combat where you can drive the cars, but you can also like while you're driving the car, you can like use cyberware to explode other cars or shoot through the windshield or do stuff, hang out the side of a car. It all just looks a lot better. It looks a lot better than it did before. So
yeah, that game, boy howdy, talk about a rough release, man. Holy shit.
I mean, even if the graphical stuff wasn't there, I thought that the gameplay was just very vanilla, but
yeah, I tried, and I just couldn't get into it myself either.
Yeah, but hopefully this will change things. It looks better, but I mean, of course, you can always cherry pick for a trailer, but
I was thinking of my favorite weird glitch was that if you walked into an area full of people and you turned around and then you turned back around, most of them would be gone.
Well, wait, were you playing it on PS5?
I was playing it on an Xbox. It was the Xbox One version, because I had a Series X. I had it on my Series X, but this was before the updated version came out.
Oh, right.
That's because I bought it for $10 on a Black Friday.
Right.
Because this was still the point where they were trying to get rid of them.
Yes.
And so I couldn't find it on PlayStation 4, so I bought the Xbox One that was $10.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll get into this. I'll have a reason to use my Xbox. Was literally my thought process. And about a few hours into the game, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was too. Let's see. From there, we had a trailer for Stormgate, which is, I don't know if you remember this. It's like the RTS.
Yeah,
where it's like cyber humans versus like demons or something.
I remember when the trailer came out, I was like, this looks really cool. And then it was an RTS, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. I had to look it up, but I did find out that apparently it is going to have a single player campaign.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, okay, that's cool, because I thought at first it was going to be a multiplayer only thing. It's so weird though, because it looks like Space Marines versus like the Chaos Forces from Warcraft 3. It's like real mixing metaphors.
Every time an alien or an enemy demon thing pops up, but yeah, its designs are so drastically different.
Yeah,
from the robots.
Right. From like that, like you look at that one little section. It's like, this is like a human base from StarCraft, but then it's like infested with a bunch of fucking orcs. Like,
it's very weird.
So, yeah. Let's see. From there. They had this whole thing about like who's doing the best green initiatives, and it's Phil Spencer, and he came out, and I don't care.
Like, you wear a lot of green, Phil. You're the greenest guy here.
Right.
Here you go, buddy.
Last Epoch is a thing. I had never heard of this before.
I have no fucking idea.
This is an ARPG, like a Diablo-style action top-down clicky RPG that's being apparently made where they were really big about asking the community that was playing the game for feedback. So it's like it's being like touted as like it's like the first kind of like crowd sourced like for ideas where they were just like, well, what do you want? And it's so it's kind of difficult to evaluate, because when you look at the gameplay, it just looks like an RPG. Like,
yeah, but they might change something based on something somebody said too.
Right. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It depends on what they listen to.
Yeah.
Like if they're sitting in there and then somebody goes, I need more like giant asses or something. You're like, no. Like, but if they did it, you would think very differently about them.
I feel like somebody was like, we need more giant asses, and they're like, guy, we are already working on that. We got like 8 developers that are just putting the biggest asses you've ever seen.
All
in this
they're doing is watching Pixar movies and taking notes.
Yep.
It's going to be great, guys.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll see more of this. Like, I feel like this would be one where I would like to see like a 10-minute gameplay explanation where they explain why this is good and different. So
especially whatever like things they've gotten from the community as well, because that's something I'd find interesting.
But that's coming out September 7th.
That is way faster than I thought.
So there you go. I mean, at least the thing about Gamescom, right, is that we're getting a lot of new stuff, but there's so much stuff that it's just like, It's all out.
Stuff that I still don't even know the release date for, so on some of them.
Speaking of which, that incredibly excited dude from Marvel Snap was here. Ben Brody. Ben, I don't know. Whatever. To announce that Marvel Snap, I don't know if you know this, Marvel Snap is out on Steam right now. This was we put it out right now, and it's been reconfigured to work on a PC in 16:9 instead of like a vertical. It's been reformatted to actually work on a PC. So
good for them.
Yeah.
Marvel Snap has been doing really well.
Yeah,
and it's one of the only games mobile games that exists where they're like, this isn't a pay to win per se.
Yeah,
like if anything that you pay for is mostly just like different versions of the cards you could probably get already.
Right. And to show that, they had a little animated trailer where they had a few characters, Ghost Rider and Deadpool, and like they're kind of trying to get to Cosmic Cube, and they keep turning into different like versions of those characters.
Also, this thing is so beautifully animated. It's like unfair that they don't make things like this for Marvel.
Yeah. Ghost Rider's got this like Western variant, and Deadpool looks like a Disney character from the 40s, and there's like zombie Squirrel Girl who goes through a bunch of things and becomes like fucking Sailor Moon Squirrel Girl, and then there's just, I don't know if that's Devil Dinosaur, but he looks like Grimlock.
I think it's supposed to be Devil Dinosaur.
Okay.
I don't know, that's the only red T-Rex I know.
But yeah, this is great. This little animation, that was real fun. Puts the intro to the game.
I wish there was a show like that, Marvel.
So yeah, look, they've got the whole thing set up instead of being super limited.
There's the Devil Dinosaur card there.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. Maybe if the fucking game industry will let up on me for 2 goddamn seconds, you and I can play some fucking Marvel Snap. Now that I can do it in a place that's not a cell phone. So
I played it for a little bit, and I realized immediately it would take up a lot of time if I got into it.
Yeah. Armored Core 6 had a trailer. That game's out. Armored
Pretty
Core,
much as this came out, yeah.
just that's I guess it was like 2 days before it came out, right?
Yeah. I hope this does well, because Armored Core should come back, and 2, I think that this studio needs to show again that they don't only make Souls games.
Yep, true. I am looking forward to it. I think I'm in the right mindset for it. I don't think I was in the right mindset the last time I played an Armored Core game, but I think like this one is like tone down a little bit of the incredibly hard Gran Turismo gear tuning bullshit.
Well, that was the biggest issue with that's one of the reasons it died.
Yeah,
I feel is it got too much for the hardcore like role-playing robot guy,
right?
Instead of me, who's like, I have 1 billion games I have to play right now. And you can only get so far with that sort of idea.
Yep. Let's see. From there, we saw a game called Warhaven. This is really weird. I have no idea what this is. It's like the trailer is about this guy, this like kid, and his family gets killed, and then it's like he's an adult. This is also a Nexon game. I don't know if this is the game that they were comparing to Dark and Darker or whatever it is, because it's this like really gritty, like swords and sorcery, like night guy. This is obviously all pre-rendered, so it's hard to tell what the actual game itself would look like. But it's like this guy kind of fighting through to kill the king, I guess, who's already in a coffin.
Yeah, he wants like revenge for like that flashback that just happened.
Yeah,
because that specific king was there.
I don't know, maybe,
but I guess he wants to defile the corpse, I guess.
I suppose
if I was him, it wouldn't be like a beheading. It would be a lot of like Weekend at Bernie's type shit. They're like, a king's alive or whatever. Any decrees that you can all go fuck yourselves.
September 21st, like Warhaven, Nexon. It's going to be on Steam, and it's a free-to-play game, which, again, I watched that trailer, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then they're like, it's free-to-play, and I'm like, never mind, I don't care anymore.
I hate how often it happens with these game conferences now.
Yep.
Where it'll be like, look how cool this is. And you're like, that sounds great. And it's either only a multiplayer game or free-to-play. And I'm like, man, I don't want to deal with that shit right now.
Mortal Kombat 1 is got another trailer.
Very exciting. Because it turns out that fucking Shao Kahn exists in this universe.
Yep, General Shao is over here, as well as Sindel. I think that Sindel's hair has never looked better than it does in here. Like,
it looks normal.
Well, it looks normal up until the point where she's using it in battle, and it gets all like super floof.
That's true.
But yeah, Shao Kahn has a lot of. I showed this trailer to some people. There's the point where Shao Kahn puts his axe in the ground and then grabs Sub-Zero and like pushes him onto the axe, and it's like, that's not how this works, Shao.
Shao is gonna get the job done.
Yeah. Fucking man, Mortal Kombat's got every week they got a new announcement trailer, and we still have like 3 weeks until the game comes out.
Yeah, it comes out mid-September.
Yeah,
19th or something like
that. Everything is looking fucking great. We saw Motaro as one of the cameos.
Yeah, I fucking love Motaro.
I don't know who's the guy that was doing all the punches, like you know what I'm talking about.
I'd have to see him again.
The yellow guy who like he's like Also, it's really interesting to see this cutscene where they're like, where Lord Liu Kang is like, yes, we've come to the tournament. Here is Earthrealm's champion, Raiden, the Raiden guy.
Here's my good friend Raiden. He works at Blockbuster.
Right. He looks so young and like he looks like a baby.
Yeah, because he's not even fucking Richard Epcar voice anymore, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
He's just this young dude who's like, I'm a Shaolin guy who shoots lightning now.
Yeah. So they show a lot of Raiden doing stuff.
I guess Raiden's the new Liu Kang, I guess?
Yeah, pretty much. Seems that way.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. That seems like kind of a weird thing for Lord Liu Kang to do when you consider all the shit that Liu Kang had to go through.
I bet you that's why he did it, though. He's like, if I had to do it, you gotta do it now, right?
That guy. This guy.
Oh, that's Shujinku.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
He was one of the main characters to Deception.
Oh, okay.
He was actually like the character you used in Conquest for Deadly Alliance.
Oh, okay.
He's the one who accidentally released the Dragon King.
Fair enough.
He's the guy who's supposed to be like, I know everybody's moves because he trained with everybody.
Oh,
kind of thing. He's like your World Tour character, but like an actual canon of Mortal Kombat.
Okay,
it's very weird that way.
And then we got Sindel, who just looks like a crazy beast.
She looks great.
Fucking hair moves. This fatality where she's like doing all this stuff, and then at the end she just rips the skull out, fucking Mortal Kombat 1 style. Like there's nothing interesting. Like it's all this stuff with the hair doing stuff, and then at the end she's just like, and now I'm just gonna rip all your
and it's so fast
spine
too.
out. Yeah. So, yep.
I'm very excited.
Yep.
I've already pre-ordered it, so I'm very excited.
We got another trailer for Aura Story Untold, which apparently is just Civilization. It is literally Civilization for like the Xbox and PC, and it's going to be on Game Pass.
Good for them? ?
It's literally like you pick a historical leader. Like, this just looks exactly like Civilization.
But can you make Gandhi nuke you?
Probably.
Or maybe there's a different guy. Maybe it's Buddha now.
This is like showing how you can construct wonders of the world. It seems like it's a lot higher detail than Civilization, but everything else just looks exactly like fucking Civilization.
Yeah, their character designs are a little more cartoony, though.
Yeah.
At least I don't know. It depends on the Civilization you play. Some of them are about the same.
Is this the same studio that made that Mankind thing that nobody gave a shit about?
Oh, yeah. That came out, and everyone's like, what is this? I don't fucking care.
It was like their promo was like a caveman listening to headphones, listening to fucking dubstep or something, and it was like, what?
Yeah, people keep making trailers for games. They're like, what the fuck does this even mean?
All right, we've rounded the corner. We're almost done. Diablo 4 has a new season. I don't give a two shits about Diablo 4. The next season's got vampires and a vampire hunter and some kind of story, some kind of motion comic horse shit, and I do not give a shit. A Season of Blood coming next month.
People love the vampires.
It's got some new voice acting to it. They bring out the lady who's like the head of like the voice of the vampire hunter. I
recognize her from something. I just can't put my finger on it.
Yeah. And then we had Dustborn, which for the life of me looked like Route 96 or whatever that one game was.
Oh yeah.
And it's like a bunch of strange people in odd costumes, like
that guy
on a road
back
trip.
Just looks like that character from Borderlands, by the way. Borderlands 2, I think.
But apparently there's something where like the main character is like, shut up, and then everybody can't talk. And then also there's like robots, and it's some kind of third person action game where you're yelling at robots and hitting them with a stick. So I don't know.
Sure, I guess.
I don't know what the fuck is happening in this one. It looks a lot like
just Borderland designs.
It looks like Tales from the Borderlands meets that Route 96 game, and I can't. I don't really know.
You can go either way.
You got to tell me more, Dustborn. You got to tell me more.
Spotlight.
So, and then we had this game called Thank Goodness You're Here. I don't know if you saw this trailer. It's an incredibly catchy song. It's got about this little yellow-headed guy, and it's just berserk and insane. Everything is hand animated, and you're just doing all kinds of stuff and getting into trouble and running around. And
I love this already.
It's got a catchy ass song, and it's like this world full of weirdos, and they're all animated like regular show or something, and it just looks like a bunch of wackiness. I don't even know what it's about, but this is one where I don't need to know more. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm in. Whatever this is, I'm already in.
Yeah. It's fucking weird. I highly recommend everybody go watch the trailer with the song in it because it's really good. So thank goodness you're here. Coming out next year on the PlayStation and the Switch and the PC. Ooh. And then last but not least, we had our Alan Wake 2. Sam Lake came out to remind us all that he doesn't actually sound like Max Payne at all.
No, which it always confuses me because I expect him to talk like Max and he never does.
Yep. And then they have a trailer that shows off the live action stuff. There's a lot of live action in Alan Wake 2. There's like a little slice of game here and there, but for the most part, it's showing off all these kind of crazy, surreal live action parts. I've never been the biggest fan, and I don't know why Remedy keeps putting live action in the video game.
Sometimes it's really fun. Like, I was a big fan of the wackier stuff they did with it in Control, because with the same actor, for that matter.
Yeah.
Because you remember that weird, like, Easter egg when you find of him, like, doing this weird dance or something?
Oh, well, there was the scientist, right?
Yeah, he plays the scientist in that one.
Oh, okay.
And then there's that weird one that you find of him, like, just doing this weird fucking thing.
Yeah. And then, like, but for the most part in Control, it was okay because it was the director, like, the director kind of coming over, but it was all these, like, weird close-ups of his head, whereas this is all, like, a lot of this is much more, I don't know.
Well, it's what they did with Quantum Break. Yeah. Basically, and one of the reasons they did it, I remember at the time, is they wanted to like blur the lines between like television storytelling and like video game storytelling. Yeah. Which Max Payne had already like played with the idea, because you see like the fake soap operas as you walk through a lot of the game.
Yeah, Lords and Ladies and Baseball Bat Boy.
Yeah. And so they just took that to like an extreme level in Quantum Break and then pulled it back again in Control. But apparently they went forward full ass again.
Yeah.
In Alan Wake 2. So.
I don't know. I think that the character, the Northlight engine that they use, I'm like, why didn't you just do that in that engine? Or was it cheaper for you guys? Do you guys just have so much theatrical shit laying around in your office that you're just like, well, we only have to buy like 30% more sets for this, as opposed to creating all this stuff by hand in the Northlight engine? So
plus, some of them just really like doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Alan Wake is again right around the corner. And then it all ended up with Jeff Keighley saying that Game Awards are coming back December 7th. Which, I mean, obviously, so...
I guess that was his idea of, like, the showstopper. You're coming back to see more of me in December, guys. It's like, Jeff, I've been seeing you all fucking year.
Yeah. It'll be the third time this year.
One other guy to host or something, because I'm getting kind of tired of you, Keighley.
Yep.
You can't be the guy... You can't be the spokesman of video games. Stop it.
Okay, listen, I'm going to say... You could do a lot worse for the spokesman for video games than Jeff Keighley.
It's true.
Like,
but I'm tired of his face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bring out the people who do the Devolver Digital instead.
Nina Struthers or whatever. Yeah.
Just have her be the host.
Just have her be the co-host. Just yelling at Jeff Keighley the entire time.
It would be fucking
Keighley,
wonderful.
you fuck get off the stage. It's my turn.
Get like people who rush the stage that you've hired this time.
Right. Oh God. Yeah. What if they did a skit where somebody like rushed the stage and then Jeff Keighley just pulls out a gun and shoots them and they've got squibs in so that it looks like Jeff Keighley just murdered a guy on stage. He's like, let that be a lesson to all of you.
I would like for him to I would like for him to do that, but not be like, let that be a lesson. Just go right back into talking about games.
All right, let's talk
like
to Todd
nothing
Howard.
happened.
Yes, yeah.
And somebody just drags the body away and they just keep talking.
Okay, we got time. Good, because we got a bunch of game news to go through outside of this. So Yeah, that was the opening night live. There's a bunch of other stuff that's happening. I'm going to try to get to anything we didn't cover this week next week.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. Like there was a new RoboCop trailer for apparently a future game show.
We're getting to that at some point. As Michael said, though, there was a guy that tried to run on stage and grab the microphone. I don't know why this is a thing.
The disappointment in Jeff Keighley's voice when he says, "I'm so disappointed."
I'm so disappointed.
I felt so bad. Like I was like, I want to hug you because this is just sad for you.
Yeah,
you poor man.
Yeah,
you just want to talk about games.
I feel like there's going to be a day when they have the Game Awards, and there's just going to be a bunch of like fucking Hell's Angels standing in front of the stage waiting for somebody to try to fuck around.
Did you see his tweet afterwards?
No.
He put out a tweet where he's like, "Don't worry, guys. He's probably never gonna either annoy or mess with anyone again." And everyone's like, "What does that mean? Like, did Jeff Keighley kill a guy? Like, what does that mean?"
He owns video games. What? Don't fuck with him. You let him do whatever. He'll take all the games away.
It's really funny.
Let's see. So we did have some other news this week. One thing was we got some new details on the Sony PlayStation 5 streaming device.
Yes, which has a very misleading name, I feel.
Yes, it's called the PlayStation Portal. For anybody who doesn't know, this is that thing where it's like if you cut a PS5 controller in half and then glued an iPad into the middle of it, and it's just for streaming games from your PlayStation 5 to this device on a local. Well, actually, no. You can use it. You can use it over Wi-Fi. You can actually use it remotely, but the optimal, obviously, is going to be like in the same house, wired PS5, and then really strong Wi-Fi for the.
Wait, did it say you could use it outside of?
I think it's just an internet connection.
I could have sworn it had to be the same Wi-Fi, but I didn't look too deeply in it because every time I tried, the PlayStation blog page went down because so many people were looking at it.
Okay,
so I had a hard time finding out.
Let's see. It's a mirroring device that requires you to pair it via Wi-Fi. Oh, maybe so. I thought I had read before.
I can't tell. That's the problem.
That was able to do it. I don't know. We'll have to come back to it. The main thing that I wanted to talk about, though, was the fact that they put out the price for it, and it's $200.
That's actually a super reasonable price.
Yeah, which is not that bad.
Because we talked about this a while back, and you asked me how much I would have considered, and I thought like $300 was what they would have ended up doing.
Yeah. I think I might have said $350 because Sony always prices shit too high.
Yeah, like all of their VR stuff is like really expensive. So I was half expecting this one to be a really like randomly expensive thing.
How much is a DualShock? A DualShock, it's like 60 or 70, right? So yeah, so it's basically like 2.5 controllers, which, you know, for the fact that it's got a 1080p 60 frames per second screen, it's got all of the haptic shit in the controllers built up. It's got speakers on it as well as like a headphone jack, and it compared to some of the headphone stuff. They announced some new Pulse headphones that. I bought the expensive PS5 headphones and I never fucking use them. So.
I use mine a lot, actually.
Yeah?
I use mine like crazy.
Yeah? I've just never... I mean, my walls are thick. I could turn my shit up as loud as I want, but...
Yeah, that's the main issue is I live in an apartment surrounded by people.
Yeah.
And one time... Or I didn't have anybody, like, complain, but there was one game I'm like, I can't hear, like, some of the things that are happening.
Right.
So I just put on the headphones. And I used it mostly for the Resident Evil games.
Those headphones, though, those new headphones are a lot. They're really expensive, though.
They're like $50 more.
$150 for the Pulse 3D, and then $200 for the Explorer, the wireless earbuds.
Yeah, which I wouldn't know why you would want those compared to the other one.
Well, because they come in that cool case. It looks like a little PlayStation 5 that you open up.
I guess that's fair. I thought the thing I thought was really funny is that the new Pulse Elite, as it's called, has a microphone that you can move up and down. Yeah. Because the current one doesn't. And I keep putting it on backwards. Oh. Because that has happened to me multiple times where I'm like, hey, can you guys hear me? They're like, you sound really far away. And I was like, oh. And I just flip it around and they're like, oh, now I can hear you. Okay. Because you can't, it's hard to tell which way is which unless you like really look at it and then put it on.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
Let's see. Next up, Charles Martinet has retired as the voice of Mario.
This caught everyone off guard, by the way.
Yeah, it's been what did they say, like 20 years, 27 years, something like that.
Yeah, he started in whenever Mario 64 came out. That was the first time they ever had a voice, and he got it like super late too. Yeah, like he showed up randomly to this audition. and then they gave it to him. He was like the last guy they auditioned to.
Because I guess there were no Mario voice lines before that, right?
Nothing game wise, at least. Everything was a cartoon.
It had a sound effect, right?
Yeah.
But there was nothing in the game of Mario having a voice.
So, like, I bet you a lot of the people who auditioned probably tried doing what the cartoons were doing, which was giving him that Brooklyn accent kind of thing.
Captain Lou Albano impression.
Yeah, because they asked him to come in, and they're like, "Well, just do like an Italian voice." And he started explaining how to make a pizza using the Mario voice. He's like, "You take a pizza pie, and then you get the sauce, and then you put it on the thing, and then and he just like did that for like apparently like 5-10 minutes, and then they were like, and then they called him back. It's like, "Hey, you want to be Mario?" He's like, "Sure."
Yep. So he's still going to be like a quote unquote Mario ambassador. I don't know what that means.
I think it just means he's allowed to like be at events and stuff and still
do the voice,
present as Mario, because he goes to conventions all the fucking time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so there's I bet it's still for legal reasons to let him still be like, I'm Mario,
right,
kind of thing. Because you've heard the old Lone Ranger story, with the original Lone Ranger actor. He used to go to conventions all the time. He's like, I'm the Lone Ranger, and they're like, the fuck you are.
Oh,
and they sued his ass, and he couldn't present as the Lone Ranger.
Yeah,
he had to be like, I'm the actor who happens to wear a cowboy outfit sometimes.
Yeah. So he's still going to be around. He's not dead or anything.
No, that's what surprised a lot of people. He used to say all the time, he's like, I'll voice it until I die. But
the weird one is that he's not going to be the voice in Wonder, which comes out in a month and a half.
There was when the trailer came out, some people were like, why does the voice sound weird? And so some people, there was one theory. One theory was what actually happened. The other theory is that it was the first time he voiced anything in a long time.
Yeah,
because a lot of people don't know this, is that he voiced just a shit ton of it, and then they just reused a lot of those lines.
Yeah,
that's why if you'll watch a cutscene from one game, I forgot which game it was. It was one of the sports games, but Luigi gets kidnapped. And Mario just goes, Luigi, the normal way of saying Luigi, instead of being
oh no,
yeah, he's not saying, oh no, my brother got taken away. He's like, Luigi. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, apparently it's funny because Charles Martinet, he was the voice of the parents in the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Yeah,
he's the voice of the dad.
He got to play the dad, and his last line in that movie is these are my boys.
Right.
So everybody's kind of sad that might be the last thing he does Mario-wise.
I don't know.
But he's been doing a lot of other voice work besides that, though. Luckily,
like what?
He was in the Dragon Ball Super movie as one of the bad guys in the English dub, and then he did something for a game, I think, recently too, as a different character.
I wonder if it's just
I think he's gonna get other work, so he should be fine for a while.
Yeah,
and he's just a super sweet dude.
Rekindle? I don't know what that is. Californians? Anyway,
because he's been doing a little bit of voice work here and there since then.
Okay.
There it is. He's still doing Magenta.
Mario, what's that?
He was Magenta was the Dragon Ball thing he did.
Oh,
but I swore he was in something else. But life of me, I can't remember what it was.
WarioWare Get It Together. He was Wario.
That's the thing. That's a lot of thing. A lot of people are wondering is because he voices all four. He voices Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi.
Yep.
So people are wondering if they got somebody to be all four again, or maybe they're going to separate them. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out.
I don't know. Let's see. This is a weird story, and I don't know what. I don't have a good segue, but I'm curious. Did you see these weird Xbox wraps?
I did.
These
I heard about this.
Series X Xbox wraps. So I guess Microsoft is a little sad that they didn't build their thing with a built-in. You could take it apart and put a colored thing on it. So there's
money just waiting to be made.
They're selling these weird. It's like a little cardboard or I don't even know what it's made out of.
I think it's
cloth
vinyl,
cardboard,
maybe.
And it just wraps around the Series X, and then it's got slots for the power button and the USB stuff, and so you end up with they're only doing it right now. They've got 2 camo patterns and then a Starfield one.
Yeah, it looks like it's like a Velcro. Closing too.
And it's super easy to take off. You can put them on and take it off super easy.
And they also made sure that the back completely exposes the vents to make sure.
Yes.
It's kind of cool, but the way they only have so many options at the moment.
It's also kind of weird because they're I don't know, $50.
That is
$45, and then there's the Starfield one that's $50.
I think they're basing it on the prices of the shells for the PS5.
And they also have these. They have to have these little tabs at the bottom to keep them like up off of the base because it vents through the base. Like, I don't know. It's a really like kind of inelegant solution. Dbrand actually already has a whole bunch of wraps. I was looking at them.
Really?
Like they have specific. They're like vinyl.
Are they the sticker ones?
Yeah, they're stickers.
Oh yeah, those. Okay, yeah.
But they're like the same price, but they're actual stickers, and like they go over the top, as well as the sides, and they're just stuck to it. So it's like a more permanent thing, but you get a little bit more. I mean, first off, they've got a shitload of different things on their store.
But not only that, you can people on eBay make their own custom ones.
Yeah,
and there's a site that sells one that I want to get, but the only reason I'd never bought it is I don't have room to stand up my Xbox Series X.
Right.
Which is, it makes it look like a Ghostbusters firehouse because it's that sort of exact shape.
Yeah.
So it looks perfect, but like I can't use it.
So yeah, I don't know. This seems like, I mean, I don't know. It's just the weird temporary nature of it where it's like my Xbox is wearing a jacket. Like,
it's really weird.
It's very strange.
It's a very strange thing to do because it's like it feels more like you're gonna make it even warmer than it already is.
Right. Yeah. So
it's
I don't
very
know.
strange.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
And you can't custom make those either. It's just, and it looks like they literally could slip off.
Yeah.
That's the other issue with it. Like you couldn't pick up an Xbox Series X.
Yeah. Then it would just fall out.
It would just fall out the bottom.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very strange. It's very strange. I don't know. I maybe be like, I thought about buying one, but then I was like, but why? I barely use my Series X. And when I store it on its side, so it's like, well, I don't
you can see the dust on that thing, by the way.
Well, you can see the dust on everything in this room if you get too close to it.
That's true. Well, mine's covered in dust too. I'm not pretending. Like I said, I literally bought Cyberpunk from my Series X to be like, maybe I can use the Series X.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I used it for when Jason and I played Texas Chainsaw Massacre because he was playing it on a Series X.
Oh, you did?
So I just used the same Series X.
The last time I did was for Exoprimal.
Oh, there you go.
To try it out on the Game Pass.
Yep. The strangest fucking thing has happened. I don't know if you caught this yet
I
or
heard
not.
about this, actually.
Okay, so we're back on that Activision Blizzard. Michael, you're here, so we got to get a reason.
Yes.
You had 1 week where we didn't talk about Activision Blizzard, but now we're back talking about Activision Blizzard Microsoft acquisition. Okay, so when last we left off, last time on Microsoft wants to buy a company, the big blocker was the CMA in England, and their primary concern was about streaming tech, and Microsoft, apparently, after I look at this, it was about Microsoft having access to put Call of Duty and the Activision games onto their xCloud streaming service. So Microsoft went back to them, and the proposed solution, all right, Microsoft has put forward a thing saying that they will sell the streaming rights, that when this acquisition goes through, that they will sell the streaming rights for Call of Duty and all Activision Blizzard games to Ubisoft.
Yeah.
To
weird.
Ubisoft for 10 years.
What's this 15 on that headline?
Or 15 years, sorry. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
So then
I
like,
don't know what else to say.
Ubisoft,
I have a lot to say, actually.
Ubisoft, who, as I understand, has no real connection to Microsoft.
No.
I don't think it's because they're in France. Is that what it is? Because they're close? Like, you could sail ships over there and bomb them? I don't
really get it either. Like, it's such a strange idea. Because this is specifically the UK rights, right?
I don't know.
I'm assuming, but if it's not, that's even weirder.
So then this would mean that after the sale, if you wanted to play a streaming version of Call of Duty, you would do it on Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah.
What? What?
Here's the thing that I think is really funny about this.
Yeah.
Ubisoft needs this.
Yes.
Really badly.
Oh no.
Ubisoft's like, please give it to us. I will suck your dick, Phil Spencer.
So Ubisoft will compensate Microsoft with a one-off payment as well as wholesale pricing mechanism that includes the option to pay based on usage. But then check okay, this is from a Kotaku article. Listen to this sentence. Ubisoft will then have the ability to license out the games to other subscription services, as well as to pay a fee to force Microsoft to port Activision games to competing PC gaming operating systems like Linux.
That's fucking crazy.
What in the world? What is that?
That is batshit fucking insane.
So I think this is all I can think of that makes this make any sense, is that Microsoft went to the CMA and they were just like, what the fuck do you want? What do you want? What do you want to make this go through? And they were like, sell the rights to streaming it online to another company. They're like, which company? What do you think? Like, well, Ubisoft? Okay, cool. What else? And they're like, I don't know, if Ubisoft wants to put Crash Bandicoot on Linux, they can, says that one Linux guy on the CMA. And they're like, fine. What else?
Whatever
what else do
you want.
got? Whatever you want.
You want a car? I'll give you a car. What the fuck do you want from me?
What the hell is this?
This is insane.
Why is Ubisoft in charge of Call of Duty now? What the fuck is that? Like,
it's not only just, like you said, it's not just being in charge of Call of Duty. It's in charge of being like, that guy wants Call of Duty on his system. Do it. And they have to do it.
And they're allowed to license the rights of streaming Activision games to third-party companies. It's not even just a one-way transfer. Yeah. They have the ability to then also license it out. They have the ability to pay Microsoft to force them to port games to other operating systems.
It is insane.
Like, what is that?
I am legitimately shocked.
Yeah.
That this is happening.
Again, the only thing I can think of is that Microsoft just went in there and put a blank piece of paper through. Lulu Chang server came in, threw down a notepad and threw a pencil on it. Went, just tell us what it is. What is the thing to make you assholes stop this? Like
we'll do whatever it takes at this point, guys.
Do you want hookers? We've got hookers.
You're the only holdout now.
Do you want Todd Howard to suck your dick? I can get Todd Howard to suck your dick.
I'll get Todd Howard to make a game about you getting your dick sucked. Look, and we'll put it on Linux.
Who's the guy? Who's the old Xbox guy?
The guy before him?
Yeah.
Don Matrick?
Do you want to beat Don Matrick in the parking lot with a baseball bat? We already have him. We already have him in the parking lot. We got the bats. We do it all the time. Is that what you want?
We have him hooked up like Prometheus.
Right.
Where an eagle comes down and eats him every now and then.
What is that? That's insane. That's ridiculous. And how in the world could it be Ubisoft?
I don't know why.
How could it not be Electronic Arts or
maybe it's Ubisoft specifically because of how low they are right now. Because they're like, you are the only one I'd expect not to betray me because you need this.
Right. Because I could crush you with my hands.
Exactly.
You do anything.
I can crush you like it's nothing.
I'll just buy the rights to Assassin's Creed and then set the franchise on fire in the parking lot by Don Matrick. Yeah, this is so weird. I don't know.
I don't know.
See what's going to happen.
I want it to happen really badly, to be honest.
The CMA is currently considering it. This also, though, gives a lot of credence to the thing that Microsoft has been saying this entire time, where they're just like, we want to buy Activision because we want we want their cell phone business and we want like the Call of Duty. And they're like, well, what about streaming? And they're like, we don't care about streaming. What do you want? We'll sign whatever. 10-year exclusivity agreement? 1,000 years?
Like 10 years from now, maybe we'll get it to work.
Right.
And then we'll want it back.
Oh, God. Yeah. You know what? Like, you give Ubisoft this shit for 10 years, people will be like, please give it back to Microsoft. Please.
It'll be great. I can't wait. I want it to happen just to see what happens.
In other Blizzard news, the director of Overwatch 2 responded to the horrible Steam review bombing that it's getting right now.
Oh, I love it.
Which I don't know if you saw this, but 2/3 of it is like Chinese.
Really?
And it's because of the NetEase stuff
that
going
is actually
down.
The most surprising thing about it.
Yeah, when they actually did an analysis, it's like most of it is from China with people that are trying to play Overwatch 2 in China, but there are no servers there, so they have to get to a server that's farther away, so they get crappy performance all the time. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's really funny, actually.
Yeah, Aaron Keller, the director, came out to respond and said, we also launched on Steam last week, and although being review bombed isn't a fun experience, it's been great to see lots of new players jump into Overwatch 2 for the first time. Our goal with Overwatch 2 has been to make the game more accessible than ever for more people than ever. And then he goes on to talk about, like, this was the, let's see, here's the paragraph that really stuck a little bit in my craw. If we can't turn back the clock, then what can we do? We can keep adding to and improving Overwatch 2. That's how we move forward. That means more maps, heroes, game modes, missions, stories, events, cool cosmetics and features, an ever-expanding, evolving, and improving game. This is the future of Overwatch, one where we will continually create and innovate on what is making the game great now for players who are playing now. So what's not working right now, we're going to do more of that. It's more.
There's so much more of it.
The audience is like, we don't like potato soup, and they're like, I've got so much more potato soup for you, and they're just like, stop! I want like wontons, and they're just like, no, here's more potato soup. I don't know what it is.
What if we added potato bread to it?
Right. Like,
it's like, but you said you would have really fancy bread. Yeah, forget about that. But what about the potato bread?
Yeah. Like, I don't understand how they don't understand. I don't understand how they don't understand what they've done.
No, they understand, but they can't say it out loud.
Right.
He knows full well what they've done, that they can't do anything about it because they've gone too far. They can't. They know full well they don't have the development to both fuck gamers and also give them something that's worth fucking them for.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. You're either getting ass blasted in one way, Jeff.
Somehow you're gonna get ass blasted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't under. I mean, like, I get the towing the corporate line, but like, Blizzard is just in such a fucking state.
This is half the reason I want Microsoft to get them.
Yeah, is I want them to go in there and be like, revive the single player mode, and they're like, we need double the developers, and like, well, then double the developers. We don't give a shit. That's what people want. That's gonna make us look so good if they're like, you get bought by Microsoft, and next week they're like, guys, we're bringing back the single player. Now, what would be weird is if we found out, like, in 5 years that they canceled the single player on purpose before at Microsoft's, like, Bobby Kotick came in and was like, cancel single player, and they're like, sir, it's done. We can release it any day. He's like, cancel it. Like, but why? Cancel it now. And it turns out it was just a big thing so that Phil Spencer could be like, you know what? I've decided that we're going to have single player Overwatch, and we're going to do whatever it takes to make you gamers super happy.
You're going to love it, guys.
But all of that, that's the problem with conspiracy theory, is all of that requires me to give too much credit to both Microsoft and Blizzard for like forward thinking good like decisions.
Well, yeah, you expect Bobby Kotick to be a person.
Yeah,
is the problem with that thought process.
True. Remember when I was talking about Modern Warfare and the zombies?
Yes.
Let's come back to that, because apparently I kind of glossed over this a little bit, but I wanted to just really briefly come out and talk about how the zombies mode is apparently going to be like a giant Warzone style map.
Huh.
Like, it's not going to be individual levels. It's going to be a very large map that you kind of go between different areas of. And the people that are fans of zombies are like, oh, that sounds terrible. One map, one zombies map, one really big zombies map.
Yeah, that does sound kind of weird.
Like that, and then you're going to make it mostly battle royale. And so since zombies a lot of times can be played just straight up single player by themselves, there's a lot of single player zombies players. So
that does sound actually kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
because that was one of the fun things, is all the weird ass maps that you could do this with.
Yeah.
Also, another feature that I thought was kind of fun, what they added to one of the space versions, was that some of the zombies would have the names of your friends lists.
Oh,
as to, because I'd be playing like a different, I'd be playing Halo or something with my friends over the 360, and then somebody would be like, Mike, you're here. I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's like, and then it's like, oh, there's a zombie there with my name on it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I was like, that's really fun.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, this is kind of just like based on some really initial reporting. I can definitely though see why. I can definitely see why the community would not be super happy about that.
And I can definitely see why the developers would do something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's less work.
Yeah, way less. Especially if you take the Warzone map and then just kind of move it around a little bit and reconfigure it. So,
plus, there's a lot of personality stuff that was really interesting in those series too.
They're like whole characters and plot lines and shit that were going on. So
there's this like Christmas album all of the actors did together that you can't find because they kept they kept taking it down.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I think it wasn't like an official thing.
Let's see. Another Tomb Raider. Or, nope. Gave it away. God, I was going to do a whole question thing. I don't know why they're putting Lara Croft coming into Modern Warfare 2. They're putting Lara Croft in Modern Warfare 2. I don't understand why, but Lara Croft, I mean, I guess we live in a world that has Nicki Minaj in Modern Warfare, so if Nicki Minaj can be in a video game, anybody can, and it's not that big a deal.
Honestly, at least Lara Croft is a character that uses guns.
Yeah.
So I'm actually perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, she's all about raiding them tombs. So, yep, Lara Croft is coming to Call of Duty.
Because Embracer Group still owns that, right?
Yes. They need a shitload of money.
Yeah, that's probably why they did it. They're like, give us money.
Yeah.
I don't care. If you want Gex, we'll give you Gex. Just fucking let us have some money.
Let's see. In other strange news, BioWare laid off 50 developers.
Yeah.
This is a big chunk of people. This, I actually read between the lines, though. I didn't realize this. We never covered this, and I don't know why. But they gave Star Wars The Old Republic to a third-party studio.
Really?
It's been moved out of the hands of BioWare Austin into a third-party studio. So I think that these 50 devs, some of these are people that are no longer needed in the Austin studio.
Which is a shame.
Yeah.
Because they could have, maybe finished Anthem.
Come on, Michael. That's just crazy talk.
It is. I was talking to some friends about this because we were talking about because when this news story came up, we were talking about how far BioWare has fallen as a company.
Yeah.
Because literally the last thing they made was Anthem.
Yep.
And we haven't thought of anything else they've made since then, and that was 2019, something like that.
Wait, was Anthem after Mass Effect Andromeda?
Yes.
Okay.
It was the last thing they did.
Okay.
Because Mass Effect Andromeda was like 2017 or so.
Okay.
And that game did horribly.
Yep.
Which is why everyone was like, Anthem's going to be the thing, and then it wasn't.
I actually somewhat enjoyed Anthem.
Yeah, you did.
It was better than I thought. Everybody was like, man, it's not Mass Effect. And I was like, I wasn't expecting a Mass Effect, and I got to fly around like Iron Man and blast on stuff, and that was pretty fun. So
yeah. The problem was their expansions did not keep up in any way.
True. Let's see. We're going to go really quick through some of these. We got some information about Immortals Phoenix Rising 2 before it was canceled. Apparently it was like, you guys go read this Axios story about this. It was like a crazy different game. It was going to be in Polynesia. It was going to be about Polynesian gods.
Huh.
It was going to have less of a cartoony style and more of like a realistic style. They went back in and they were tooling around with the engine. Apparently they got a big chunk of it done. And then apparently they all got told they were supposed to start working on Assassin's Creed, and the project was canceled. So
that's a shame.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm somewhat okay that they got canceled because the cartoony thing was kind of what I liked about it.
Yeah.
It was like a nice, different kind of look, but they probably did it due to the budget concerns.
Yeah, Ubisoft never seemed to really care about that franchise,
Nope.
even though I feel like the people that worked on it did their very best. So
They're probably all like in that one office that's like really far deep down where there's no lights.
Man.
And they forgot that they're down there.
Holy shit. Today I have gotten like 24. I've got a bunch of money waiting to transfer into your bank account. Like just today I keep getting the same spam
email
email over and over and over again. Like I just got another one while I was looking at it.
Make your dick big if you take our money. What?
Nah, it's funny because they're trying to get me where they're just like, your transfer is pending of the $40,000 that you're supposed to have in your bank account. I'm like, I know where my money comes from. It's patreon.com/RageSelect, and it's not $40,000.
No,
Thank you very much.
$40,000. If it was, we would be doing a Kakarot full playthrough right now.
Oh boy,
I still stand by it.
Let's see. Quick like a bunny. We got some conflicting news. So last week there was a story that was going around saying the Metal Gear Solid Collection games are all going to be running at 720p 30 frames per second, which was...
It was not well received.
Not good, considering that the backwards compatible Xbox One versions of those games run better, 2 and 3 at least. Konami is now telling, this is a statement to IGN, that the PS4, PS5, Xbox Series XS, and PC versions all have a, quote, target, unquote, of 1080p at 60 FPS. Now that is a little worrying because target does not mean, yeah, bro, it runs at 60 frames per second.
It does not, but the good news is that since these are older games, it will most likely hit it more.
Yeah.
The problem is that if you say that about the Switch, that tends to not go the same way.
No, they never said it about the Switch. The Switch is always going to be running at 30. So.
Well, it's also, I think it's 1080 when docked.
Oh, very possibly. Very
720
possibly.
when not docked, I think is what they announced as well.
I mean, I feel like that's the standard for most most stuff. So
I have no issues with that, but a lot of people are still like really finicky about it. And some of them I get because some of them are like PC Metal Gear fans who are like, I can emulate these better. I'm like, that's great, but this isn't for you specifically.
Yeah.
It's for the people who don't want to take the time to do something like that.
Yep. Agreed. Let's see. This is very strange. Final Fantasy Ever Crisis is coming out next month, and that's like the cell phone one.
Yeah.
Is doing a really weird thing. So, okay, Ever Crisis is the Final Fantasy VII universe, and it's like chibi characters and then like very cinematic looking battles. You know this. I'm just saying for the audience. But it's supposed to cover everything in Final Fantasy VII. So it's supposed to cover all Final Fantasy VII as well as like Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus and like everything into one thing. And then one of the weird things that it's picked up is not the gameplay, but the story of that Battle Royale game, The First Soldier. Like there was
that's interesting.
Yeah, there was a plot to it. So it like that particular storyline is then going to be adapted to the Ever Crisis when it comes out.
That's fascinating.
So that like chapter of the story is still there, even if it's a different style of gameplay.
I'm cool with that though, because that was the thing that when they announced it, they were like, "Hey, this is the whole reason, the story of like why they're soldiers kind of thing."
Right.
And like I think part of it might have involved Sephiroth or something.
Yeah, something about that. So yeah, I don't know. I the thing is that the only problem I have with this is that I really want to play this, and so I would rather it not just be a cell phone only game.
That's my biggest issue with the whole Ever Crisis thing.
Just put it on the PC, man. Put it on the PC, and I'll play it. I don't know why Square Enix seems so weird about like. You remember when I guess the Pixel remasters were on the PC, but like they seem like they're really focused on phones more than anything else these days.
It sells them really well, and they don't have to do a lot of work to make them look good on a phone.
Yeah,
I think that's the only main reason. It's frustrating because there's so many things that I would want to play that they were like, we're going to come out with this. And it's like, that's great. It's only on your phone. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, like some of these things could have lasted a lot longer if you hadn't done that shit.
Yep. And last on our story, the Wayfinder came out, and it was a bad launch.
It was a very bad launch.
I showed Michael the like it was like 2 days after the launch where it was like the login queue was like you hit go and it's like, yeah, your place in line is 17,000.
It was massive.
And it's like, yo, man, I paid for that.
And you said you left it alone for 3 hours at one point, and you weren't even close.
It was like down to like 6,000 or something.
Yeah.
Amanda and I over the weekend we managed to get in and we recorded a Patreon video.
Oh, okay. Did it disconnect?
No, it was fine. We got in, we recorded a Patreon video. It seems like it's pretty all right.
You guys don't know, we tried doing something for a game similarly that disconnected because that a server thing happened in the middle of it. And when it came back in, it had the same issue.
Yep. But they came out and apologized. Apparently, the big thing here, I didn't actually realize this was Digital Extremes, the people that do Warframe. They were running the servers.
I did not realize that.
So everybody came out to apologize, and somebody asked before about, like, there was an interesting question that was asked of, like, if you didn't know, because they just didn't anticipate this many people would be interested in trying it, right? Because it was $20. Like, you had to pay to get into the early access when it's going to be free to play normally. And so at one point they were asked, like, why didn't you set up pre-orders? That way you could have gauged the interest ahead of time and then adjusted. And they were like, well, not all the platforms will let you do a pre-order for an early access thing. So last I checked this week, I was able to get in if I went to the login screen and left it alone for like 40 minutes. But
progress.
Yeah. It seems like a pretty all right game. Just, you got to get your shit together. So,
no.
All right. We got some trailers to go through real quick. We got a 7-minute. I say this real quick. We got a 7-minute Like a Dragon. The man who abandoned his name. I forget exactly what the subtitle on this one is.
The man who gave up his name.
He gave up his name. Yeah, it's funny because Kiryu has a secret agent name, Joryu.
Completely different.
Like, yeah. There is a whole 7-minute trailer here. Apparently, Kiryu has decided to disguise himself by putting on a different colored jacket and a tie and a pair of glasses, and it's like
it works. It's like Clark Kent. I've never seen this man before in my life.
Yes. Boy, this trailer's great. I don't know if you watched this trailer.
I watched most of it. I didn't have a chance to finish it.
It's pretty great. There's a point where he's getting back into, because he's working for the government as like a James Bond secret agent, and there's a point where some criminal comes out to threaten Kiryu Kazama's orphanage full of orphans. Like, if you don't do what I want, we'll go burn down your orphanage. And he's just like, fucking do it. Do it. I'll murder everyone.
Give me a reason to get out of bed.
Yep.
I will murder all of you right now.
They showed that there's two different action modes. So there is a Yakuza mode that is basically like the traditional mode of picking stuff up and hitting people with bicycles. But then the new thing is there's a secret agent mode where like he's using like gadgets. So it's like all these like wires to tie people up and like drones, these little like rocket boots, and like
I heard about this part because it was like, that's fucking crazy.
Dumb James Bond bullshit. Like, it's like, so the thing you have to remember, Michael, is that Yakuza 6 established Kiryu's like 67 years old.
He's really old, guys.
He's an old man. He was a grandpa in that game. And now he's out here like James Bond fucking like fire kicking people's faces off like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, at this point, he's got to be in his late 60s or something.
Yeah. He could be in his early 70s at this point.
Yeah.
Like, and he's just fucking James Bonding it up. Apparently he's immortal, so
this is the fun thing about games is you're able to do that and no one will question it.
Yeah.
Where you can't do that with Indiana Jones and 80-year-old fucking Harrison Ford.
Oh, sure. And then there was some other weird stuff. I don't know if you saw all this stuff that was so weird. So like there's an arena mode, there's like gambling and stuff. Yeah, all right, fine, whatever. The hostess mode is now live action video.
Oh my God.
So you go to the hostess bar, and this isn't like running the hostess bar, this is going to the hostess bar, and they have video of an actual real life lady talking to you, looking directly at the screen, talking to you.
Oh my God.
And then like
this is so weird.
And then like
this is freaking me out.
Like I know. And then like the other games, if you do well, you can go on like dates with them, and then it's just like in a apartment, like, or this weird cheesecake, like I'm doing my aerobic exercises with a low-cut top on directly into the camera, and it's like, what is this?
Super Seducer 4, Jeff. Turns out it's the secret sequel, the Super Seducer.
Okay, so here's the thing I'll say. In Yakuza 6, there was a mini game where you were basically like chatting with a woman online with video chat, and it was a live-action video of a woman, but I've never seen it like this before.
Yeah.
Where
this is straight up like fucking Command and Conquer shit.
Yeah, it's
kind
really
of
bizarre.
amazing.
It's super bizarre.
We were talking weird shit about Alan Wake's version.
Yeah, this is taking me right out of it. Also karaoke. Also,
of course, that's his tradition.
Hot fashions and karaoke and playing video games. And oh yeah, also this they have a very brief moment.
Oh, Jesus. I've been told about this room.
There's a picture of this lady in a pool in this room with these windows nearby. This is apparently an infamous room that shows up in a lot of porn.
Yeah, my friends told me about it because it showed up in something else recently as well.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I don't understand why everybody's freaking out. And my friends to explain to me, he's like, yeah, it's a series of porn AVs. Because for some reason this location is very easy to get a hold of.
Yep.
And everybody uses it.
Yep. It's also been apparently in like some animes and stuff as like a cheeky background reference type
I wouldn't
of
be
thing.
surprised.
So
that's amazing.
This game looks fucking berserk. Like, I don't know how every time
Or erased his name, that's what it was.
the man who erased his name. I don't know how every time it looks more berserk than the last time, but it keeps getting more fucking nuts, and this looks crazier than anything I've seen them do.
This is
so
Sega's
far.
real franchise, by the way.
Like-
no one actually cares about Sonic anymore.
Yeah.
It's all about the Yakuza Like a Dragon series.
Well, not just that, but okay, so then like at the very end, I'm sorry I cut it off before the end because they do this. I love this. Where it's him walking out of this club and there's just guys throwing
Making it rain.
handfuls of money, and he's like flanked by a bunch of hostesses like they're about to kick ass, and then like behind the hostesses are a bunch of like dudes in puffy jackets that look like they're about to kick ass. So then at the very, very end, we see the dude from the Like a Dragon franchise. And then they show Kiryu the way that we've seen him in the trailer for the next game with the gray hair.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's going to look like in the next game. I guess he learned how to disguise himself by
he figured it out.
Gray hair.
He watched a lot of boy bands and was like, that's my hair now, but gray.
He was like, I could still have the collar popped, but if the hair is gray, then they won't recognize even if I don't have the sunglasses on, even though he looks like he just went and got like Botox or something.
He's in his 70s. It's bad. You got to stop, bro.
Yep. There's also a thing early on that I didn't show you because it's a 7-minute long trailer, where he's talking to a guy and the guy asks him like, oh yeah, the reason they have this is because there's going to be a demo for the Infinite Wealth with that game.
That's interesting.
The guy asks him when he's going to Hawaii, if he's going to Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
And he says, no, I've got something I've got to do first. And like, so that's like a setup for this because we had
so he ends up in Hawaii. Okay.
Right.
Because we were all wondering exactly where he was in that trailer.
Because you can see here that it looks like he's there with what's his face from the
Cafe Aloha Seaside.
Yeah. So,
but he's got clothes on now, so that's different.
Fucking nuts. Speaking of fucking nuts, this is like one of the few things that I saw at the Gamescom. I want to point out this game called Mullet Mad Jack.
Oh my god!
That is like a first-person boomer shooter, but it's all like in the style of like a '90s ultra-violent anime. Including what the main character looks like, and they've got like these ladies giving you stuff, and it looks incredibly ultra violent. I think it looks awesome.
This looks great, guys. I'm very interested in this.
It looks like somebody looked at Bolt Gun and they were like, hold my beer. I can do better than this.
I want more of these games, guys. I'm very happy this is a thing.
They even have an Akira slide in the
as is tradition.
So and it looks like a pop idol who's turned into a Terminator or something, and it's like, okay, if you want to go back and watch a bunch of those old 90s animes.
100%.
As you mentioned, we got a RoboCop gameplay trailer. This was listed for me under Gamescom. I don't know about...
Well, they when they had announced it on Twitter as future game show.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only reason I thought that's what it was.
They've got a psychologist talking to RoboCop, which is kind of interesting. It harkens back to that weird Frank Miller story.
Well, I like the idea of that a lot because everyone treats him as this like product, and they're like, oh, his product's acting weird, so we should probably actually focus on the part of that we forgot was in there.
Yeah. I think the big thing from this is Ann Lewis shows up.
Yes.
We haven't seen Lewis so far, but
I don't know who she's voiced by, but it's definitely not her actor.
Yeah.
Or actress. But I still am very happy that it's all Peter Weller still.
Yep.
And if there's more Ed 209 footage, it seems that they can be on your side as well.
Yep.
I'm very excited for this. I've already pre-ordered this.
Oh,
but there's no release date still. It's supposed to come out next month, but there's still no like actual date. My Amazon says October 3rd.
God, if I was them, I wouldn't release it next month. I wouldn't release it till December or January. I'd put it off until 2024.
There's like one news story that says maybe it's November, but I can't find anything on it.
Oh, and then look, it's the sergeant guy. I didn't notice that before.
Oh yeah, it's the chief.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward to this one. Fair amount.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that.
We got a launch date for the Hellboy, Web of the Word. I'm still so conflicted about this because like I like Lance Reddick. I like Lance Reddick's voice. I never thought of Hellboy as having Lance Reddick's voice.
It's not what I would have chosen personally.
And I think that part of that is probably because of what's his face from the movies.
Yeah, the Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman. I think that was the first time I heard somebody doing Hellboy, and that it kind of just stuck in my head. So, not to say the game's going to be bad or anything. It's a little jarring.
It's fair. Like I'm cool with it just because I really like the idea of it. As long as the game is good, really, because that's the other issue is that Hellboy has not had a good track record with video games.
Yeah, I do like this part at the end where they've got like these. It's like a werewolf and then some other monsters, and then at the end it's just kind of like he gets knocked down by one, and then just all three of them are just fucking like. Just beating the shit out of him while he's on the ground. I'm like, that's a very Hellboy thing to happen.
It is. It very much is.
October 4th. Boom. Good to go. So, Payday 3 has a whole 5-minute live action film.
Why do they keep getting the money for these things?
I don't know. I have no idea. Because it's basically just like, hey, did you want to watch the beginning of like The Dark Knight except without any of the Batman or Joker stuff?
That's pretty much all it is.
Because it's just like 4 guys and they rob a bank. That's what happens. Oh, yeah, except at the very end, they got their money and they escape and they close. They're looking in the bag and they close the bag and the screen goes to black. And then it has Payday 3 and then the bag opens up. And who could it be but Ice-T looking at the bag? So I don't know. I
was kind of hoping it would be fucking Michael Madsen.
Oh. To tie in with
that'd be hysterical. Just fuse the two.
What the hell is that game called?
Rocket City.
Rocket City. We got a bunch of Persona stuff, but I picked. We got a gameplay trailer for Persona 3 remake, reload. A lot of people getting real weird about this game.
Well, people are like it's the gatekeepiness of anime in a game.
Yeah.
And that's just the thing. Everybody's like, it's not the same.
Right.
It's like, man, those games came out so long ago. I don't even think you could make them the same.
Right. Yeah, it looks a lot. Well, so what's weird to me is that I feel like there's a lot of talk about like it not looking the same, and I'm like, yeah, but I like what this looks like. This looks like a game I want to play because it looks a lot like Persona 4, Persona 5.
They're putting more work into the idea, but because Persona 3 is a very old PS2 game, and it was the first I think 3D Persona game.
Yeah,
and it was of its time.
Yep,
is the best way of putting it.
I don't know. Looks good to me. I'm interested in checking it out.
As long as the soundtrack's the same, I have no fucking issues.
Yeah,
because that soundtrack is fucking great.
I could see it. This was part of the pre-show for the Gamescom. There was a bunch of pre-show stuff. I looked at it. None of it was all that great, but they had a Homeworld 3 trailer, which has been a long time since we've seen Homeworld 3.
I guess Randy Pitchford couldn't snake his way into the Gamescom.
This one had a lot of story to it about what the plan is, what they're doing, how they're going out, and then they showed off. The gameplay looks really, really solid. I really, really, really hope that this game is accessible enough to play on normal difficulty.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing about games like this is you have no idea what general audiences will think of it.
Yep, because it looks really cool. I'm such a sucker for space stuff that, looks real good.
That's good.
And then also has, I don't know if we had a launch date February.
I don't remember personally.
Yeah, I don't either. Skip that. Oh, yeah. The Delta Force franchise is back.
The what?
You remember it was an old PlayStation/PC game called Delta Force. It was one of the early battle, modern warfare shooter type games.
I generally don't remember. I'm not going to pretend I do.
Okay.
I'm immediately thinking of Chuck Norris as Delta Force.
Nope.
It's not that.
Yeah. There's an old PSX Delta Force, or I think it was at least on the PC. So this trailer is for a new Delta Force game, and it starts with just Black Hawk Down. That beginning part was just the actual Black Hawk Down. And then it's well, now we're a bunch of future soldiers. We're ghost recons where we've all got weird cyber enhancements.
It says it's 2035 or something like that?
Yeah, powered exoskeletons and drone warfares and there's one part where they show a drone making a very targeted smoke screen, so that people can't hit from a specific direction, and I don't know, it's very weird.
That's very strange.
It's very strange. It looks could be okay. There's also the latter half of this. It seems like there's a lot of people shooting at whoever the main character is, and they're not dying. So
yeah, that's the thing. I actually hope it's good because every shooter nowadays is just the two big ones, which is Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Right.
And I wouldn't mind adding more
and Battlefield
guys
sucks.
into it. Because there's so many people online where they're like, I feel like games aren't good. And it's well, you guys, every time somebody says that, they're a shooter streamer.
Right.
And that's that's all you play. So of course you think games aren't good anymore.
Yep.
You need to branch out, guys. And
go play that Baldur's Gate. Okay, horrible disappointment. Horrible disappointment. Horrible disappointment. I went and I saw a trailer on Game Trailers video thing called Command and Conquer Legions, official reveal trailer. And I watched it, and there was a guy, and he was walking along through a field of Tiberium, and there was a bunch of nod symbols, and he looks over a field, and then there's a bunch of GDI guys in like powered armor, and there's a bunch of nod. It's a phone game. It's a phone game. Yes. Well, but why would you just like not make Command and Conquer games? Like people love Command and Conquer.
They hate you specifically.
There's that weird company that's making that weird off-brand one. They showed off at the THQ Nordic show. Like we'll play generic. We'll play Command and Conquer. We'll play Command and Conquer at home at this point. Like you guys could put out Generals 2 and people would cheer their asses off.
It always shocks me how little some companies just don't utilize really big franchises.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Like Konami.
Konami, yes, is really bad about that.
So, yeah, sorry. I just wanted everybody to know there's not a new Command and Conquer. It's just a phone game, and those don't count. So.
Don't you guys have phones?
Oh no, Destiny, the Final Shape. That's a trailer. Liza P. Also skipping. Got a trailer. The game is out in like 2 or 3 weeks.
It's real soon. This is mostly about the life stuff, is it?
Yeah, it's all kind of talking about like how many bodies, how many things, and it's like how many lives. They do show some different stuff here than I feel like we see a lot of the same place, and here we're seeing a little bit more like there's some weird like mutant looking stuff.
I love the designs on everybody still.
Yeah, some crazy guy. I have a real high hopes for Liza P. Like I really enjoyed when we played the demo, right? Yeah. It was real fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Fucking Bloodborne Pinocchio. Who could have thought? Who could have thought? That's like 2 weeks away. Hyperlight Breaker had a trailer where they talked about their early access development. I believe that Hyperlight Breaker was supposed to go into early access this year, but they said they need a little bit more time, so it's going to be happening next year.
Oh, okay.
Considering that Hyperlight Breaker is trying to take this concept of like a roguelike open world, like a fully procedurally generated open world where every time you get a different meaningful open world, I can see needing a few extra months.
Yeah, that's not something they could do overnight.
Yeah. And then let's see. SteamWorld Build got a release date. This is a pretty fun little trailer because it's like two little robots. There's like a little girl robot just like, what do we do now, Paul? He's like, now we make a mine. So...
First you get the mines, then you get the bitches, honey.
Well, apparently they're trying to build a robot or a spaceship.
Oh, okay.
To leave, which I would too. So, yeah, SteamWorld Build December 1st. So we're finally getting some stuff in December now.
Yeah, everything's September, October, and not a lot in November, to be honest.
Yeah. Wordless got a release date.
Oh, this thing.
Yeah, this is the one with the black and white kind of like they're like they look like Rayman dots, but then when they attack, they turn into like you can see the silhouettes of the characters. They're kind of it's a very interesting looking concept. It looks very fun.
Yeah, because it's like depending on which version of your color depends on like things you can do in certain areas.
Yeah,
attack, and I think it's a nice idea. It's especially if done well.
Ikaruga the Metroidvania.
Yeah, I can see that. It's got that Vector Manny kind of look too.
Yeah. October 4th.
That's really soon. I did not expect that.
Me neither. And then let's see. We got a few more. Now we got the remasters and the re-releases. We got there's going to be a remaster of Dark Forces.
That's pretty exciting, actually.
It's so strange because they show this trailer and they've obviously done a lot of like up-resing on the like AI up-resing on the cutscenes.
Yeah.
But you can't do that for the actual game. So they got all these cutscenes and then they show the gameplay and it's just like, I mean, it's sharp. It's 4K, but like it's still a chunky Doom Star Wars game. So
I'm actually kind of happy that they left it that way.
Yeah.
Because it's a fun time. So yeah.
Yep. So yeah, remastered cinematics and some extra content very soon, buddy. Also, Night Dive announced that Turok 3 is also going to be remastered.
I forget there even was a Turok 3. That happens so often. I always think it ended at 2.
I never really played any of the Turoks, so I couldn't say anything about them. But
I only played a couple of them because it was one of those series that was like mostly on the 64.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't grow up with one, so.
Yep. Let's see. A very weird announcement. Broken Sword. Do you know Broken Sword?
Can't say I do.
Broken Sword was a point-and-click adventure game back in the old days that was all hand-animated. And there were 5 of them. They were actually like a little cottage industry. It's about like a blonde guy and then this kind of investigative reporter lady. And it's a very like Da Vinci Code, like the fucking Holy Grail and stuff. So they showed this brief little reveal. They showed they're making a 6th one in Unity that's all 3D.
Oh.
But I think that what people are more interested in is the fact that they're also remastering the first game into 4K, and that one was all done with like hand animation.
Oh, wow.
And what's really interesting is they had a kind of little Q&A where they talked about like they used like a specific AI to work on this, and they were kind of trying to get out ahead of it of a potential like controversy, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so strange what they did. They couldn't get. Well, first off, they're a tiny team, so they couldn't get. Like. They had 300,000 or 30,000 frames of animation to do.
Yeah.
They tried to do an AI upres on the backgrounds because they're all hand painted. Didn't work. They were like, we just got to do those by hand. So then they looked at the characters and they were like, well, how can we do the characters? And they tried putting it into like the existing AIs. They wouldn't do enough. They tried using some generative AIs. And they finally found they had to make their own AI, and what they did was they did it for everything but the hands and face because it couldn't do hands or faces.
Yeah.
So then the animators had to go back in and fix the hands and the faces for every character. Which, when you think about it, like
that's a great way of using that tool.
Jackets and pants, that's a great thing to automate, right?
Yeah.
And
the faces faces, of course, the hands tend to be the most important thing about.
Yeah.
They tend to be what you focus on the most.
Right.
So, yeah.
Because, and they kind of said, like, there wasn't really any way for us to do this otherwise because they're like a 6-person team. So
yeah, they would have needed like a much bigger budget and a much bigger team.
They said they did a test with the frames, and they said that you could manually redo one frame of the 30,000 frames of animation in about an hour. So it would have taken 30,000 hours worth of work to do the animations.
Well,
so.
this is the exact thing that AI is supposed to be for.
Yeah,
is making your life easier, but still working on them specifically.
Yes,
because we've seen what happens when you just put an old game into some sort of AI and just leave it the way it is.
Sure,
and it's horrific.
It's bad.
Which is how we got that Grand Theft Auto.
You gotta
remaster.
Yeah, you gotta look over the shoulder of those AIs.
Yep.
Speaking of big remasters, Half-Life 2 is getting an RTX remix. So you remember that RTX remix tool that we saw from NVIDIA?
Yeah.
They basically went out and got like the 4 best Half-Life 2 mod teams on the internet and then made them into one consolidated team and then gave them that RTX remaster tool in Half-Life 2 and said, you guys go through, because it's so funny looking at this trailer because it keeps saying like RTX on and everything looks great, and then it goes to RTX off and they're not showing that it literally is changing the assets that are in the screen. But these teams are all working with that remastering tool to basically go through and remaster all of Half-Life 2. The results are shockingly good.
Yeah, and if it's bunch of people who are known for modding it to begin with.
Yep.
Those people are doing this with love.
Yep.
And they're going to do it that much better than
it's also possible that like
else.
A lot of the assets in here could have been from existing mods, right? Like,
yeah, that's true too.
Because the demonstration is all in Steiner's lab, right? So it's very interesting.
I look forward to see how that all plays out.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see. There's going to be a conversation that has to happen at some point about like is it okay to call this Half-Life 2 because you've now done so much work on it that like
it's okay to call it the Ship of Theseus. That's what it is.
Exactly. So yeah, everybody should look at this. It's pretty cool.
As long as they don't make Gordon talk, I think we're fine.
there's also we don't have time to get into it. I may get into it next week. NVIDIA showed off their DLSS 3.5,
really,
which is a brand new thing where they go through it in technical detail about how like. So you've got the ray tracing, and then you've got the upsampling, and how doing the ray trace lighting and then upsampling the ray tracing can cause like this weird artifacting. And so DLSS 3.5 is supposed to do both simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
And the results look really good. But the weird thing is that unlike DLSS 3.0, DLSS 3.5 is going to come to every RTX card. Like if it's an RTX card, it'll be able to do it with the existing tensor cores. So,
that's crazy.
Yeah, weird.
The way of the future.
Yep. There's going to be DLC. Cult of the Lamb and Don't Starve are teaming up.
Very strange.
Don't Starve is getting some Cult of the Lamb DLC. Cult of the Lamb is getting some Don't Starve DLC. We are so far out of time. I'm not going to say more than that. Dave the Diver got a huge quality of life update that people are super happy about. It's basically runs better. It's smaller. It's more efficient. The UI has been remapped. Automation for some tasks. And it's just a big old free update to make the game better. So
good for them.
Go play Dave the Diver. We got a release date for Fallout, the series, the Amazon series of 2024. So we're going to be seeing the series start streaming on Prime in 2024.
That's good.
I wish that they weren't such lazy fucks to be like, it's the Fallout universe, but this time they come out of the vault and they're in Los Angeles, California. And it's like, what a stretch. Ooh, what a coincidence. It just turns out that the script takes place in the same place that we're making this.
Exactly. Also, that image is clearly an AI
this?
thing. Yeah, because everybody's been talking about it. Because look at the car on the bottom right.
Oh, it's like kind of the wrong way.
Backwards.
Oh, yeah, maybe. That rider strike. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's AI, especially because of the way the buildings are in the back. They're like morphed into the mountains.
Oh, yeah. Could very well be. Could be behind here, behind this Pip Boy. There's some fucking crazy AI
Probably
shit.
some really fucked up shit.
Let's see. Atari has finally put out something weird that I actually kind of think is not a bad idea. I don't know if you saw this. This is the Atari 2600 Plus. It is basically like a slightly smaller Atari 2600, and it's $130, and it will play Atari games. Like you can put an Atari 2600 cartridge in, and
I can finally play E.T.
But then it also has HDMI out.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's basically an Atari 2600. It comes with a 10 games on one cartridge thing. And then, it's got outputs that will go to an HDMI TV, and it's got a controller that is like the old one stick, one button controller that does USB-C. And $130 ain't like, that's not too much to spend for something like that.
Well, especially something that actually plays the actual cartridges.
Right.
Because it's not like you can just go out and buy a brand new one of these and hope for the best.
They also sell, I almost bought one of these. They also sell, you can buy separate controllers, but then they also sell for $40 a paddle controller that has 4 paddle games and then 2 paddles. So
that's not bad.
Here's the thing: if you put the console, this, and one extra controller in, it all comes out to about $200 plus shipping. So,
and that's without, but they will both come with a couple games at least.
Yeah, the base one comes with the 10-in-1 cartridge, and then it's 4 games for the paddles. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're interested,
Atari games aren't that difficult to find.
Yeah, I'm sure you could probably still find some at like a flea market or something for
pretty
super
easily.
cheap.
You just have to hope they work still.
Yep.
Or you can buy those. People sell like new ones, quote unquote, like because they make like their own games for them. So you could buy like Halo Atari on it, kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Didn't they make that Mr. Run and Jump or whatever?
Yeah,
Did they actually make like an Atari 2600 version of that? You can play it. Yeah. And then last but not least, Stupid jokes become reality as Razer teams up with Gillette to make a razor. I think this is really stupid because the original thing was a April Fool's joke, and it was an electric razor that was a mouse. It was like shaped like a mouse, but it had like a razor on the bottom and it had RGB, and then you could like shave your face with it. I'm not saying it had to be exactly this, but the idea that it's just a green Gillette razor,
well, it destroys the fun of it,
right?
You know? Like you could have had a lot of fun with it by making it like a one that still looked like a mouse, but it didn't have to have all the colors and everything,
right? The RGB.
But you could have just made one of those like handheld ones that looked like a mouse, and it would have been fun.
Yeah. The base says for gamers by gamers. It's got a little base that you could put it in.
I guess.
It's also just doesn't like, okay, listen, man, I'm going to say this, Michael, RGB is cheap. Like if you put a bunch of RGB in my razor, that would have been like a quote unquote gamer razor. That would have been a little bit more fun, right?
Yeah, it just looks like any other razor.
It's just got
from
the
Gillette
serial numbers filed off,
and it's got like a circle in the middle for some reason.
Yep.
I don't really understand what that's for.
Boo.
That's a bit lame.
Yep. What a downer note. We're because that's all we got. That's the end of the podcast. We went fucking half hour over. Sorry to everybody. Sorry, Michael. That was too much news. But there was a lot of news this week. Tell the folks where they can find you when you're not over here helping me do the news.
You can find me on oneofus.net. We should have a review for the Gran Turismo movie on there. And for some reason, I found out that some places call it Gran Turismo : based on a true story.
Like that's a subtitle?
Yeah, apparently like that might be the subtitle for some places. I don't know. I just think that's really funny.
Okay. Sure. And yeah, if you're listening to this, you already know where to find me. So, but I know where to find you too. Ooh, or do I? I probably do, but I'm just too lazy. I'm too lazy.
That's true.
I'm like the lazy Liam Neeson. I'm like, I have a very specific set of skills, but I don't want to use them. I'm tired. I got to go play Armored Core. Oh shit, Armored Core is out. Get out of here.